play first watch?
Hello, happy Saturday, happy summer, happy Pride Month, and welcome back to an all new episode of the First Watch podcast. I'm Zach, and I'm here with Cole and Morgan. How are you both doing?
Call this shit the Backrooms, cause I'm in this bitch and I can't get out.
Yeah, just redecorated. What do you think?
It's giving corporate office in the middle of Iowa. I imagine it smells a little like mildew in there.
Just a
It's a
wee
little,
bit. And
it's a
blood.
little, it's a little sparse for my taste.
Yeah, maybe we could put up like a little bonsai tree or what do they call it? Like a ficus? Ficus?
Yeah,
Well, this is just a welcome lobby.
Do you have any like water features? Sort of like,
Yeah, in the back.
yeah,
There's
in
even a
the
pirate.
ooh. Today, as this change of decor may imply, we're talking about two big box office smashes and a movie that has made no noise at the box office. The no noise making box office movie will surely make all sorts of other kinds of noise if you're into it, but it's also kind of the film embodiment of a leftist meme, and that is, unsurprisingly, Boots Riley's new movie, I Love Boosters, which we'll talk about a little bit because I think we've all seen that. We all have something to share about that. We all have some interesting takeaways on that. But the real main focus is a pair of independent horror movies, one of them distributed by A24, the other distributed by
Focus features.
Focus Features. I was like, I don't think it's a Neon John, but I know that Oz Perkins is heavily involved, so I wasn't quite sure. And that's Obsession. These are two movies that have been released against Mario, Star Wars, and a number of other different things, and are nonetheless just rampaging at the box office. A recurring, long time, I mean, 6 years running conversation between me and Cole about the health and success of horror movies at the box office at a diminished time. How much can horror save the movies? And we're seeing it in action. Like this is the most that has ever been true. And those two movies, of course, are Obsession and Backrooms. Both, interestingly enough, directed by very young filmmakers. So I am your millennial host, and this is Zoomer talk. So forgive me for all of my old man yelling at cloud moments that are sure to come to pass throughout this conversation, but we're excited to get back online and start talking about movies. So, as we ordinarily do, we will talk about some new releases. You guys got anything to share on this front?
I can't imagine the conversation will take very long. So do we want to just rip it with
Yes.
Mandalorian and Grogus?
Yes.
The
Mando
one,
Gru.
the one not good story at the box office right now.
It is a good story depending on your perspective. It's not good for them. It's good for
It,
me.
there's a lot. There's much as that it's being made of the fact that these two movies that are going to be the centerpiece of our conversation are trouncing Mandalorian and Grogu at the box office, and I think there's a couple explanations for that. Um, the first explanation is that it looked like shit.
Mm,
Um, the second explanation is that it's a TV movie.
mm.
For now, they did their best to make that not matter by not giving this movie a narrative. Uh,
I mean, seriously, nothing
which
fucking happens.
which really falls into a different category of issues one might have when going to see a Star War.
Which, you know, look at those nine movies and what is the title that they all share, or the subtitle that they all share is the episode. And there is something in Star Wars that is very much a serial. It's a radio serial. Each movie picks up and they're talking about, well, when we were doing the thing on that other
Yeah,
planet, and there's this constant stream of action and activity.
it's
But
Flash
the
Gordon.
but the movies crystallize in these very dramatic ways. It's like, and then this is when we killed their big death weapon. And this is when we killed their big death weapon a second time. And this is when we killed their big death weapon a third time, and on that way.
And this is when we talked about midi-chlorians.
and trade routes, which you know what has been very relevant to 2026. So George was just ahead of his time a little bit. I don't know.
Truly the Hideo Kojima of America.
So I think this plays right into the Disney Plus ongoing issue over there. Like pretty
Mhm.
much since COVID, they've had a few big hits. Zootopia was a big hit last year. Of course, we had Spider-Man No Way Home. We will see what happens with Avengers. But I think that they have, well, Deadpool versus Wolverine or whatever, Deadpool and
Mhm.
Wolverine. Um, so they've had success with what, like a big crossover movie, a live action remake, sequel to a really successful, children's family movie, get the whole family out there. But what they haven't really done is manage to divorce the theatrical experience from the streaming experience. I think it matters that this is not only a TV movie, but it's a TV movie of a Disney Plus series. Like, no, it has never been clearer. Like, at some point, this is going to be on streaming. Whether you're into this or you're skeptical about this or anywhere in between, you're like, well, why would I pay money to go see that? Why don't I just wait until it drops for free? Because I have the service already, right? Or like wait to I think that there are a lot of people that are, in my camp, our camp of like, this sucks. I don't even want to watch this necessarily. Whose overall approach is like, well, then why would I waste my time spending money on it? And I think that could be true even if you have like a positive expectation for it. This is maybe like
Mhm.
the most a movie has seemed to have been impacted by this since like the the I don't know what fucking phase of Marvel are we on at this point? The post Endgame phase
Yeah, I mean,
where everything is just
this is very Captain America 4 coded in a
Oh
yeah,
way.
it
God,
is.
yeah.
It is. It's
Um,
for me it was also very Jurassic World coded, which it didn't make
yeah.
nearly as much money as those, but I just very, very similar experience to watching Jurassic World Dominion, which is the last one of those I will ever watch in a theater. This was
Yeah.
this was a little draining for me, to be honest. I've seen fewer new releases in the last few years, just busier, more selective with what I'm going out to see. Not that I've liked I saw the movie Goat, the animated movie about basketball, and it was not good. So it's not like I only go to see good movies or something, but boy, this was like I would have rather been doing labor. I would have rather put me in the uniform and have me clean out the popcorn machine or something. Fuck this completely. And I don't even have like intelligible things to say about it. I think Cole's maybe got the most analysis on this
I mean,
particular
the thing
movie.
that really struck me about this, and I saw one episode. I saw like the premiere
Yeah, I've
in
seen three
2019.
total.
And I was
And
like, oh, look at the baby. The baby's cute. And I was just like, okay,
right.
whatever. And then, like Baby Yoda takes over the world for like 12 months or whatever. Um,
He's just Gizmo or Stitch. It's the same thing.
and he's got the big eyes, and he is cute. And like they give him cute things to do in this. But like what I was most struck by is that this is a movie without humans in a way that none of the Star Wars movies before this have ever been. Like
You know,
there's robots, there's aliens, there's all kinds of creatures, but
you
you're
got your
still looking at
Huts, you
someone's
got your
face.
Babu Fricks, you got your Glup Shido.
And the lead of this movie, he only takes off his helmet for like 5 fucking minutes. That's it.
Morgan, Morgan, on the other side of this particular argument, I feel like you are of the age, you and I are of the interests, whatever, like our interests have probably led us into different conversations where the example that comes to my mind is in the 1990s, they made a Judge Dredd movie with Sylvester Stallone, and a huge bitching point of the fans, TM, is that he spends no time in the mask, which is very, very, very wrong for the character of Judge Dredd, just as it would be for the character of a Mandalorian. But this is like comic book shit. Like, I don't know that it necessarily plays in the movies, and I like using that example of Dredd because they did make a movie with Carl Urban, maybe or maybe not directed by Alex Garland, where it works really, really well. But there are some
Mhm.
key things that they do in that movie to make it work really, really well, in my opinion.
The
Whereas
the
Mando just never
issue with
has.
the issue with Mandalorian and Grogu is not that it doesn't have humans, it's that it doesn't have characters.
Yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
uh, Dread, for instance, has remarkably well-defined characters. It's a small cast of them, but you understand what everybody's motivations are, their perspectives, and
From a
all of that.
practical, visual, emotional perspective, I think it's important that you could see Carl Urban's chin. I think it's important
Yep.
that
Yeah.
his co-star, Cassandra Anderson, never wears a mask because she's got like some psychic thing and
Hmm.
she's got a fucking face, right? She just has an incredible looking face.
Yeah.
You've even got Donald Gleason in there for a bit, and he's got a very different kind of face. And then you've got Lena Headey, who is like the queen of having face. So he's surrounded by face at all times. The other example I really think of where they pull this off quite well is in V for Vendetta, where you've got Hugo Weaving giving a physical, vaudevillian, verbal performance that really makes up for the fact that you never see his face. He has a mask that is designed to look like a face, to look like expressive, but like there's obviously this distance between the expression of the mask and who the character is. And then you've got Natalie Portman, who has a fucking face, right? Like there's no version of this that they've ever pulled off where the co-star was like a puppet and Jeremy Allen White as Jabba the Hutt or whatever the fuck he's doing.
I was more emotionally invested by the 5 minutes of this movie that Sigourney Weaver's in interacting with the baby Yoda puppet than anything involving him and not Pedro, because Pedro has not been on that set since 2019.
Probably not. He's doing that
Yeah,
shit over Zoom.
and so this circles back to our third reason that this is underperforming is that nobody cares about this show anymore.
Right.
Mm,
I
Uh,
don't,
this
as with
movie is
many
like
other things,
3 years too late.
yeah.
and as with many other things, including Masters of the Universe, the He-Man movie that just opened. I haven't, I don't think any of us have seen it, but it
No.
just opened like last night or the day before.
Skip
Um,
of the life.
like I have now seen some trailers. I've seen a big standing poster. It's not like I've seen nothing for Masters of the Universe, just like it's not like I've seen nothing for Mandalorian and Grogu. But I didn't see a trailer for this movie at any point, I don't think, or maybe I did, but it just in one ear and out the other. I know that these people spend money to market Star Wars, but Cole, you've been just historically speaking comparing it to the last Star Wars movie that came out in summer, which was Solo, and drastically underperformed. It was the wrong part of the year. It was after three December hits in a row with Episode 7, Rogue One, and Episode 8. Obviously, there's all the controversy and bullshit and the reshoots of Solo and the reshoots of Rogue One and what the fuck is Kathleen Kennedy even doing over there? There was all this chatter that made Solo feel culturally relevant, even though it was underperforming. Its underperformance was like, that's the exception that proves the rule that Star Wars is this dominant cultural thing, but maybe headed in the wrong direction. This is like fart in the wind. No one's gonna remember this shit happened, which may be a good thing because the movie's awful, so we'll just forget it.
It's going to make even less than Solo did, which is
It's
really damning.
crazy. It's crazy.
Well,
So,
really that speaks to the fact that in the mid and late 2010s, Star Wars was completely in the zeitgeist.
Yep.
Like
mhm.
even
Star Wars, Marvel, there was nothing bigger for like a 3 year stretch.
for
A little
even
longer for Marvel, but
even for a boring nothing ass movie like Solo, that shit got talked to death.
mhm.
Because I mean, for one, it was still fresh again. It was still for the first time in a decade, it was back in the public conscience. And the freshness has worn off, and they've continually insisted on devaluing this brand by making a new show that nobody cares about every year.
I think it's also really telling that and we could really wind up in some bad conversational places or just some tired conversational places, but we went from like, hey, we have the director of Brick and Looper writing an original Star Wars script and directing it to like, we brought in Ron Howard. We brought in Jon Favreau. Like we're just at the point of fucking these aren't even like studio hacks. This is like studio hacks from 15 years ago at this point. right? We're not
Hmm.
even relevant studio hacks anymore. We can't even get a fucking Peyton Reed in here right now. It's bad, but it's this, and I Peyton Reed. It's the same John Watts, same fucking shit with Marvel. They just have no talent. I mean, you want to compare it to the two movies we're talking about right now with, I know Kane Parsons' name. I actually don't know the Obsession guy's name off the top of my head, but
Curry Barker.
those are that's thank you. Those are people who have a certain level of like creative vision and have been out there like making cool shit and now are getting their chance to make cool shit at a budget and at a theatrical release distribution. And this is like, man, Jon Favreau hasn't made a real movie since the 90s probably. Not to
Well, there
say that like
was,
all of them are bad, but like
well,
it's
Chef was okay.
yeah, yeah, sure. I guess I would call Chef a real movie. It's very like, dad cable movie, but yeah, it's real.
I
I
mean, the
was
first
thinking,
Iron Man feels like a real movie in a way that so many of them don't.
yeah, okay. So
Yeah, I mean that one that's actually has sex in it, unlike every other Marvel movie. So
I'll give you the 2000s or like maybe 2010, but obviously Lion King, the
Jungle
less we say
Book.
the better. The less we say the better. Iron Man 2 even. It's just like, okay, we fell off fast there.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but
No, looking back on it is amazing the speed with which Kathleen Kennedy squandered the goodwill of that franchise. Because it
totally.
was like, because I mean, it was immediately like Force Awakens, okay, billion-dollar movie. Everybody
Yep.
loves it at the time.
2 billion.
Yeah.
It is the highest grossing American domestic release of all time, and if it were not for Neja 2, it still would be the record holder for any country anywhere.
Mhm.
That is how many fucking people saw The Force Awakens. It was psychotic.
And
And then
then
we go in
the
we
the
yeah,
following December is the nightmare that was making Rogue One.
right.
Like, and it really shows in that movie in pretty much everything except the final act.
Well, hell, compare it to Andor, right? And just the way that people talk about Andor, and you go like, it's the same people making it. You can tell that one of them is compromised and the other one's not, I think pretty
Yeah.
quickly.
I mean, it's like Tony Gilroy was a guy they called in to fix that movie.
Right.
And then he just ran away with 2 seasons of the best thing that Disney's done with the property.
Obviously, again, no time spent on this, but I think it was uh, with Ryan Johnson, right? This like pissed off a portion of the fan base. Their reaction to that portion of the fan base pissed off everyone else. No one's happy. And then also just, you could call it COVID, but I don't think it's interesting that both Endgame and Rise of Skywalker are both 2019 movies. It's like final chapter, put this shit to bed. COVID-19 pandemic, everybody moved on with their lives. All the Zoomers went to college, they've come of age, they're adults, they don't care. Millennials, who knows, right? But like the moment's over. The wave is crested and we're moving on. Like you need another 30-year break. I would go for a 50-year break. If no one made a Star Wars property for 50 years, I think that would be good. I'll be dead by 50 years from now, so it won't be my problem, but maybe by then we'll be ready to do something or the Earth will die. I don't know. One of those.
Yeah. Well, to yank us out of this depressing ass convo about a failed franchise, it is really the
Rest in
only
peace.
bad story at the box office. I mean, if you're like me and you want to see like the established franchises fail, good news. But I mean, May 2019 was the first billion-dollar May. I mean, let me reset that. Last month at the box office was the first billion-dollar May since 2019.
Thank you, Tom
You have
Cruise.
Mario crossing a billion or just about to. Michael's about to hit $900 million, and I talked about that son. I haven't seen the movie yet. But the drama, which we talked about, made $130 million.
Yep.
Sheep
Coupled
Detectives, 100
huge,
million,
couple
which is nuts.
huge A24 releases in a row.
Hmm.
Like they keep going from like, oh, Civil War was our best to Marty Supreme was our best. Like they just keep doing that.
Everything keeps on building up. I mean, Backrooms is about to become their highest grossing film ever. It's about to kick Marty Mouser to the side of the road. Obsession is easily going to be Focus Features' highest grossing film. It increased on its second and third weekend outside of the holiday season. And you want to know the last movie to do that was? E.T. E.T. That's the kind of box office record we're talking about here.
The
God,
people love
confusing.
the people love Nikki Freeman.
And and we even had other smash hits, like Devil Wears Prada 2, which is
Yep.
the last Jedi of workplace comedies. I had a great time. Well, people complained about Miranda being weaker in the same way that they complained about Luke being weaker, even though it
Okay.
was thematically relevant.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
But
like
yeah,
about a diminished industry.
I had a great time during Devil Wears Prada 2. I thought it was a really smart movie about the state of print journalism and how to deal with trying to put out art in a world that is being controlled by the Bezos and the Sanchez's. So
That's like a very feel good kind of thing. Like, I don't know. It it actually sort of affirmed to me like the first movie, you could almost mistake it for a satire, but I just don't think it is one. But it's got that sort of sense of humor to it. And then the second one's just like, feel good. Everybody's back. Look at all your friends. They're back
it,
together at
I
last.
didn't see it.
I had a great time.
Yeah.
Definitely recommend it.
I want to talk about one new release that I got to go way back into the machine, but I think it's worth talking about. Um, as it is, well, I've got a few kind of artier pulls. I did see Silent Friend, which I know Cole has also seen. It's a movie where
Hmm.
Tony Leung goes full Darren Aronofsky's The Fountain mode with a tree, multiple timeline type of story. We got the past, we got the present. Um,
Leah
it's not
Seydoux in there
as
twice.
it's not as labored structurally as a lot of movies of that nature can be. It's funny to mention The Fountain because I think that kind of arguably qualifies, but the structure of that movie was the basis of the structure for Cloud Atlas, how they adapted that. We just recently had The Beast by Bertrand Bonello, but this is like way less about even though like narratively and thematically it's kind of about like biology and botany and human connection and all these different things, but it's pretty loose, slow, gorgeous movie. I mean, probably the best cinematography I have seen from any release this year, or very close
Beautiful.
to it. Really gorgeous, three distinct and different visual styles for each timeline. So you have like a past timeline that's shot in black and white, and it's kind of got like this like austere look to it, kind of soft, but n not nostalgic per se. It's interesting. You could really get deep in the weeds with all of this one. This is definitely something that like people will respond to very heavily. I was more skeptical of it, but I enjoyed it. I think it's like 2 hours and 45 minutes or something along those lines, and just felt like it was like okay, this is a little draggy.
It's very Malikian.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a fair comparison, and that is an artist who I have some ups and some downs with. The
Mhm.
other the other new release that I also had a challenge with, but ultimately came around really, 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 really strongly in favor of, to the point that I currently have it sitting at the very top of my year-end ranked list, is Blue Heron, which is by Sophie Romvari. Sophie Romvari, I had never seen anything by her, but I remember when she put out Still Processing, the short film, it was very buzzy, like in Twitter, film Twitter type circles. Like people were like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! This is a new guy here. This is somebody we all need to pay attention to." So was unsurprised when the buzz really kicked up about this new movie, which I'll get into this one a little bit because I think it's worth talking about. Again, it is kind of my favorite movie of the year so far. Um, it's about a family, particularly a young girl character. I believe they're a family of Hungarian immigrants, as Sophie Romvari herself is. It's pretty easy to read into some of these details as autobiographical, but I don't know to what extent any of them are actually autobiographical. But it has the feeling of an After Sun or Janet Planet, if you happen to have seen Janet Planet. Or All of Us Strangers by Andrew High might be another good comparison because it is very much this memory movie about childhood, but this one packs kind of a cold left hook compared to all those other movies in terms of how ungraspable this character's past is, and particularly the thorniness around, I want to say her relationship with her brother, but that's not entirely accurate. It's more like her older half brother's relationship with her, their parents, and the entire damn world, because this just kind of a troubled character, and you're
Very.
exploring what makes him so troubled? What is going on with him, and why couldn't we figure this out? And all these different things, but it's this trawling through details that are too fuzzy to really see clearly or understand clearly. And in some ways, I found it to be frustrating. I would compare it to the way that I felt walking out of The Secret Agent by Kleber Filho last year,
Mm.
which also ended up becoming one of my favorite movies of last year. So if you're kind of into that ambiguity memory movie thing, it'll really work for you. And I think even if you're having a hard time, ultimately this one just got to me emotionally. It was like leaving the theater
Oh
driving home and just
yeah.
being like, Ugh. I don't I don't like how that made me feel.
It's like you can never really understand someone else, no matter how hard you try.
There's a particular scene where through the magic of the movies, a couple characters have this exchange and the line of dialogue that, you would tattoo on yourself if you were like memorializing the movie is like, I think there's a lot of things you don't remember. And it's like, oh, and it's just clawing through that
Hmm.
fog of shit you didn't understand because you were a kid. Like it was happening around you and you didn't,
Hmm.
it affected you permanently, but you didn't really have any say in it or any comprehension of it and just trying to work back through all of that.
Yeah, I thought this was exquisite, beautifully shot, amazing cast, really
100%
emotionally
resists,
devastating.
but resists any melodrama,
Hmm.
pretty much period. Like it's
Yeah.
it's muted arguably almost to a fault, but I think it's doing the Celine song. I don't know. It's way more confrontational than any Celine song movie that I've seen, but it still
Hmm.
has that kind of muted. The confrontations rarely ever explode into a movie shouting match where Robin Williams and Matt Damon gotta fucking hug it out or whatever. No disrespect to that movie per se, but
Mm.
it's just very, very, very against the grain of that type of drama.
Yeah, I can't recommend this enough. This was actually my first 5-star of the year, so definitely check this out whenever you can.
That's kind
Played
of
for
it for
less than
me
a
on the.
week here, so
Yeah, yeah.
Pain. Uh, the other thing I want to talk about, my second favorite movie of the year actually, is Nuestra Tierra, or Our Land, a new documentary film by Lucrecia Martel, her first film since 2017, Zama. This is about a conflict in Argentina and the indigenous community. So in 2009, this wealthy family tried to buy out the land to build a mine. And they were going there and they were investigating and they were checking the land out. And the indigenous community rose up against them. We're asking them, hey, what are you guys doing there? And one of the men shot and killed the community leader. And for 9 years, nothing happened. They were just walking around free. It wasn't until 2018 that they finally went on trial. And what this film does is it goes back and forth between footage from the courtroom, the testimonies, the interrogation, witnesses, all that sort of stuff, and going back to the community and spending time with the people and learning about the man who was killed and what kind of guy he was, where his family came from, all that stuff. And it partners all this stuff with the most extraordinary drone footage I've ever seen in a movie. There's one particular moment, for example, where a surveyor is being interrogated in court, and they're talking about the mine and where it would be adjacent to the houses. And you're watching the drone footage as it's flying over, where the mine would be. And the woman's saying, "Oh, I didn't see any houses nearby. There were no houses nearby. They wouldn't be affected by the mine." And then the drone turns and you see the houses not even 500 feet away. It is such a brilliant, infuriating, although it's not as infuriating as something like Say No Other Land, because at the end of
Hmm.
the day, justice was served, thank
Right,
God.
right.
But it really digs into what happens when an indigenous population has everything stripped away from them by the people in power who originally weren't even from there. And so it's just a really invigorating and really thoughtful documentary.
Mm.
So I highly recommend checking this one out whenever it pops up.
Yeah. Who's distributing that?
This was from Strand Releasing.
Got
It's a
it.
New York-based company.
Yep. It's one of the worst DVDs in the game.
Not the
tragic.
best.
The only other new release that I've seen, we've all seen because we all saw it together. Um, and almost certainly the most I have laughed at a new release this year, arguably in a couple years, and that is Adam Shankman's Stop That Train, which is Cole, you might know more on the production side of this. This features many fixtures, including the host of RuPaul's Drag Race, stars,
Mhm.
various people. I don't know, are they like engaged in the production of it? Like, was RuPaul a producer on this, or how
I
exactly did
mean,
this all come to be?
she absolutely was. And then World of Wonder, the production company behind RuPaul's Drag Race, was of course involved, which she co-founded. Um, but what this is Airplane meets drag queens, but put it on a train.
And the gags hit. I like just to cut right to the chase. It's one of those things where this could be a really obnoxious sit, but instead, and unlike a lot of comedies where maybe I've gone to the theater and I'm sitting in a room full of people laughing, but you're not like elbow to elbow with somebody else who's really chuckling it up. We watched this on Zoom, the three of us plus Davey, and just had a ball. I mean, just had a ball with it. Like I just thought the joke hit ratio, particularly, it's about an 80-minute movie, and I would say like the first 40 minutes, the joke hit ratio was like
Mhm.
really, really high, and the second 40 minutes, it's like more into, the plot of the movie is like there's a train disaster and it's gonna do the thing, and there are like stakes, but there aren't stakes, and it's like how are these girls gonna get together and be hostesses and follow their dreams, and it's like none of that shit matters. It's literally just a joke machine.
Yeah,
But effective joke machine, I thought. You know, uh,
yeah.
the other thing, and I don't want to step on Morgan's thing because I know that he would have some stuff to say here. The look of the movie is not great, and I think in particular there are accusations, but I have not yet seen the receipts. There may have been receipts. We watched a screener of it, and I didn't sit there and watch the credits very
Mhm.
carefully. There may be receipts right in the credits of the film. I'm not saying it's not true or not provable. People are talking a lot about Gen AI being part of like how certain things in this movie were made. I haven't seen like, yes, it was this. This is what we did, and this is how it all was put together.
Mhm.
So obviously that's kind of a bum note. And regardless of whether or not it's a bum note, I mean it's not. It doesn't exactly look like The Brutalist or something.
I'm
Look,
just imagining RuPaul and the Brutalist.
the fact that we can't tell
Yeah, not a great
is
sign.
is bad.
Not a great
Like,
sign.
uh,
As
yeah,
far as we know, the directors denied it. VFX artists have
if
done like all these breakdowns and said it doesn't look like AI to them.
it
Nothing in
looks
the
like
movie,
shit is the
That's the
issue.
thing. It looks bad.
nothing in the movie to me of value. Nothing that I enjoyed about the movie was ever because of the way that it looked. Other than maybe like one or two little like dance music numbers where it's more
Mhm.
about the props and the outfit and the choreo anyway.
Right.
Because there are a couple of those, and it's like, yeah, this little number's good. But there was nothing in that where I was like, oh wow, what a visual feast. And then to find out later that it was made in some way, it was like, oh yeah, okay, I don't know. It just really could have been a television show, but they were getting the jokes off and they were making me laugh.
Yeah. And that's the core of what it's about. It's not about the backgrounds.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was ultimately successful. I certainly laughed a lot. Um, but it's too much like plot, and
Yeah.
even
Hmm.
in like non-visual effects shots, this looks terrible. Like it is lit aggressively. Um,
Which is
it's
crazy
just like
considering the drag queens. Like, come on, give them good lighting.
it's just not a movie that feels directed
No.
in any way, really.
No.
I think that can be a thing with a lot of comedies, and it's probably the genre where, at least for me, I care the least about how things because it is like it's, hey, is it getting to the thing? There's a I think there's a strong amount of comparison point that we could make between this and I Love Boosters. Very, 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 very different
Mhm.
movies, but they have that same sort of like candy coated. The outfits matter a lot. The sets matter a lot. Well, the sets in Boosters matter a lot, but just like there's kind of like a plasticky, fakey kind of thing that backdrops all of the comedy stuff, right?
Hmm.
We're not in like the nitty gritty. We're in, like production. We're not looking at Marty Supreme, where it's like very grounded sort of thing. It's like heightened to the heightened to the heightened to the heightened to the heightened. It's like none of it looks real.
Yeah.
That's definitely intentional. That's definitely a tone setting choice where it's like,
Hmm.
hey, let go of that and just get in the moment with these riffs.
Yeah. When the president of the United States is named Judy Gagwell, you gotta let go.
Like that we were talking about the visual thing, and it's like, yeah, one of the funniest gags of that. So if the thing I'll say about the AI stuff is one, to Morgan's point, if you can't tell, and we're sitting here being like, did they, didn't they? Not a great sign. But also, it's just so clearly not needed because one
Hmm.
of the funniest visual things that happens in the movie is where President Judy Gagwell is getting her briefing on the situation, and her assistant keeps like handing her shit. And so they're walking around a room, and it's like a bowling pin and like a cat, and it's just like
A
this
rubber
this like
chicken.
just shit getting like piled on top. There's like a blooper of Rue doing it a few times and like dropping things or things fall off the pile. And it's like that's not, you didn't need a single visual effect in this movie because that is what makes it funny. Is just like people putting shit on your, thing while you're trying to carry it around and keeping a very like straight, urgent looking like president face while that's happening.
Hmm. Yeah.
So my take would
It's
just be like if you did use Gen AI or whatever, like it's just like a lazy cop out that was not necessary,
yeah.
did nothing to improve this. So why
Yeah.
do it?
Hmm. Right. Like, we're really here for the queens more than anybody else. We're here for Rue. We're here for Jujubee, Ginger Minj, Brooklyn Heights,
And I will
Simone.
say that the main two girls quite good.
Hmm.
Rue I thought was a weaker point. And then oh gosh, I had her name in my head and now it's gone. The girl, the woman in this movie, who's like the cis woman, I should say, who's like the what the fuck is her name? She's a comedian.
Rachel Bloom.
Rachel
Oh yeah.
Bloom, thank you. I thought she was kind of a low point of this as well. Not like
My,
she was terrible, but I just thought those two were kind of
my
like,
my favorite moment with her was when she was pouring the unholy amount of sugar into her coffee.
yeah.
Yeah. The issue with that character is that it is the most tied into plot of this movie.
She's
Hmm.
like
And
the
that,
mature one. She's like the one who's trying to like hold things together. She's doing a don't look up. Because the
Yeah.
movie's kind of got like a don't look up to it, where it's like, oh, the disaster, and we don't want to pay attention to the
Hmm.
disaster.
Yeah.
Everybody party.
Latrice Royale taking everybody's bets.
That's funny. So she's like the character that you're supposed to take seriously. Although I will say that even though that's true, they spend a lot of time dumping on that character in a way that's really
Hmm.
funny. And
Yeah.
she also has this is
And they
such
do
a
the same with
fucking
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
they that's the only gag they do with Sarah Michelle Gellar. It's just shitting on her the entire movie. It's very odd, but it's funny. Um no, yeah. Anyway, I was gonna regale the tell it to me straight, tell it to me gay joke. Tell it to me straight, tell it to me gay. Hey, we'll have four of my girls over there, and we'll have that trade fixed up in no time. Tell it to me, boy gay. This dumb but funny.
Yeah, I mean, so gloriously stupid and just like a parade of celebrity cameos.
Yeah, a ton of people are in this movie. Oh, the other guy I was gonna bring up, I don't know, Morgan, you mentioned him. You might know his name, but the guy that was playing the co-conductor, Conductors Who We Want to See the Dick of magazine. That
yeah.
guy, I don't know if he was bad or if I just didn't like the bit that they were having him do, where he was like, duh.
It's remarkably poor casting for that kind of character because
Yeah,
that
Mhm.
man is clearly visibly flamingly homosexual. And it's just like this doesn't
which I
Yeah.
stand.
think you could do something with, but I didn't really get that they
No, they
were.
didn't.
Yeah. So yeah, some ups, some downs, a little uneven, but I had a really good time. I would watch this again and I would probably laugh at it even more than the first time.
Yeah. The
I have
bit
a really dumb sense
ratio
of humor.
is like not even the ratio, just the amount of bitage
Yeah.
on display here is kind
Hmm.
of like we had to back it up the screener a couple times.
I was going
Yeah.
to say we watched it under ideal conditions in the sense that it warmed up the room, but also suboptimal conditions in the sense that I am sure that I was missing jokes. Because it
Yeah.
was like every line of dialogue is a read, is a gag, is a something. It's not the most like visually dense
Hmm.
comedy ever, but it is a very verbally dense comedy.
Yeah.
like the dialogue, and we didn't have
Hmm.
subtitles, which is always a pain in my
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah. You look different. Stroke?
So yeah, that's all for me for new releases. I don't know if you guys have anything else that you've seen.
Uh,
Nah.
there's one I want to bring up that I thought was really good. And also ties into Pride Month a little bit. So this is Blue Film, directed by Elliot Tuttle. This is a movie about a camboy who spends one night with a guy who pays him an extraordinary amount of money in LA to just do whatever. You know, they talk, they chat, they talk about all these kind of things. And you know how I complained a little bit that the drama doesn't go far enough?
Yeah,
This movie goes right for the third rail.
yeah.
So I'll just spoil the premise a little bit. I'm not going to go in too deep. But the cam
Who's the
boy,
older guy in this?
the guy you like from Mass, Reed Birney.
Yes, yeah, Reed Birney. That's right. That's right. Davey and I were like,
Mhm.
Reed Birney.
Okay, so Kieran Moore plays Aaron Eagle, who's the cam boy. The movie opens on one of his sessions, and he's like only got his underwear on. He's saying, you fags, let us see my dick, blah 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 blah. And so
As you
he
do.
goes to this place. He goes to this place for the one night stand, trying to act all aggressive and shit. And then the older guy takes off the mask, and it's his teacher from high school who was arrested for trying to touch a 12-year-old boy.
I gotta
But the
say, this is
money's
my kind
too
of movie
good.
premise. Whatever, make of that what you will. But
But
I'm
the
like, oh, I'm
money's
interested.
but the money's
Sold.
too good. And it turns out that this guy had a crush on little 12-year-old Aaron, but never acted on it and tried acting out on somebody else and got caught.
We need more transgressive as hell cinema.
This is really transgressive. This goes to some very uncomfortable places. And I thought it was great. It was just such a raw, visceral experience that really gets into so many icky feelings and, bad situations and, dealing with the fact that this dude was a pedophile who's like says he's reformed himself and goes to church. And it's like, well, are you really? Like, come on.
Juicy.
Yeah.
So much going on
Some
there.
of the most harrowing sex scenes of the year as well.
Have you seen
Particularly,
Mass?
no, I have not.
Do you know the premise of
I
Mass?
do know the premise.
Do you know the Reed Birney characters, like who he is, or
Let
like
me guess.
his
His son was the shooter.
right? He and
And
Kevin and Dowd, thank you,
Oh, love her.
are the parents of the shooter, and then the other two parents are the parents of the victim. So
Hmm.
Reed Birney plays like the dad of a school shooter who necessarily for the drama has to be kind of, like the bad guy in the room in some ways because he's like, that's my kid. Like, what the fuck am I
Hmm.
supposed to? He is so good at playing. Like, the reason why I am so into him in that movie is because he is playing an impossible character.
He
Like
does
that,
that here.
there is nothing that you can draw out of this guy where in theory I should be compassionate on paper, and yet he gets you there. He finds human angles to bring you in, not just softening him, but like contextualizing and deepening and making you realize like, wow, this guy has had a fucking nightmare experience of this whole thing
Hmm.
and will never anyway, there's a great episode of the First Watch podcast with me and Davey talking about Mass, and I go really, really deep on Reed Birney. But there is something to me that is very like, oh, him playing this character is like a 10 out of 10 casting.
Yeah, and he's incredible in this. It really gets into some very dark places. I mean, particular the scene where they try to have sex, but he forces Aaron to shave first, and then they sort of role play as if they were, in the lockers and trying not to get caught. And it just goes into some really thorny, ugh,
Yeah.
stuff.
I like that. I think that there's if we were to unpack it, right, there's an inherent transgressive nature to any LGBT sex, to be honest. Like it's innately countercultural. It is innately immoral
Mhm.
according to established social moral codes that have gone back for centuries. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm saying that it's against what society tends to tell you is right. So, n naturally, whether you're talking about Kenneth Anger or Greg Araki, there's always this like edge, right? There's
Hmm.
this like rebelliousness. There's a because I was thinking about Mysterious Skin in some ways as you're describing the premise
Oh
and like
God, yeah.
how edgy that Joseph Gordon-Levitt character is, right? How he
Hmm.
wants to be like a bad boy and rebel. And
Hmm.
that there are some dark fucking corridors. Like, right?
Yeah.
Once you're on the opposite side of the stream, you see that like, oh, there's a lot of shit on the other side of this stream.
Hmm.
And there is a thorny, difficult nature in the wider public consciousness of like, a man, a grown man who is interested as a pedophile in like younger boys and they see that male male thing, whether it's a priest or a teacher or whoever, and they make these links and they make these associations, and it's just, it is really difficult. It is a mire of a thing to try to navigate through. And yet, I think within the experience of many, 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 maybe all gay men throughout time, and I'm specifying gay men, I'm sure that it's also trans women, lesbians, and everybody else. It's there's a big old world out there, right? You step one foot into the river and you realize like, oh, there's there's a lot, and not all of it is where you want to be, or not all of it is, it just I like in movies like this, what I think is so interesting about them, and I'll throw out like Pedro Almodovar too, as a really key example of this with his 80s, 90s, and
Hmm.
particularly into the 2000s, like
Oh
Talk to Her
yeah.
and stuff,
The
where like
edification.
we have a very rigid notion of sex and sexual morality, and it's like we're gonna break that shit like a one wish willow. Like we're gonna find all sorts of splinters and cracks and crevices and places where the human sexuality just goes to new places. Some of them beautiful, some of them terrifying, some of them a mix of both. And it's just an interesting place, and I think it's a really that's where writers should live, in my opinion. Directors too, actors too, artists of any quality, but I think of writers first. Just my brain, but it's like that's where you want to live, man. You want to go find that like that thing.
But yeah, this is hitting VOD, I believe, as of next week, and I would really recommend wrestling with it.
Yeah, I like it. Not to say, yeah, I might watch it and be like, oh, that was a little much.
I mean, when
Has
I
to be
left
the
the theater, I
case.
was like, oh God.
It's a valuable thing to experience every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in terms of catch up, I did watch The Seed of the Sacred Fig, which
Ooh,
was maybe a
great.
little on the wrong side of that equation at times for me, but a movie that I greatly enjoyed nonetheless. Um,
Really good movie.
Anybody got any like rewatch catch up stuff? I've got a couple because it is officially bleak week here in Dallas, Texas. So I saw Trouble Every Day on 35 millimeter just last night. Claire Denis,
Hell yeah.
Beatrice Dahl. I don't have a whole lot. That's like a movie that I don't really have a lot to say. I think if you're really into it feels like a proto Under the Skin in some ways, like just like the imagery and
Hmm.
rhythm of the movie. It's kind of a vampire thing. It's kind of got like a horror body, bloody, sexy, again, just kind of tapping right back into what we were just talking about. You could see it as like a proto version of Raw in some ways, but it really reminds me of Under the Skin. There's the Isaac de Bancale character. Is that who's in that? No, it's not him. It's the other guy. That's in all the Denis movies. Uh, Alex Descas. Uh, he's got this stuff where he's riding around on the motorcycle and he's trying to like rein in the doll character. So she's kind of like this non-verbal, all physical, very dangerous kind of sexual thing, similar to Scarlett Johansson. And then Descas is like her handler, trying to like keep the fucking lid on this situation to an extent, like the mysterious biker alien guy in Under the Skin. And there's just like certain rhythmic, textural things between those two movies that are very similar. If you've seen Beau Travail or other Claire Denis things, you'll kind of get a vibe of what I'm talking about. Like, there's a text to the movie, but the text is all image and movement and editing and montage, like, and that gets you into a frame of mind. Point being, I could see a lot of people being like, "What the fuck is this?" Right? And just not having any interest in it. But I don't know if it's the sort of sexy horror eating people cannibalistic shit that has me kind of hooked. But whatever it is, I'm like, ooh, this is like I'll watch this one over and over again. Great movie. Glad
But
that I feel like it's getting a it got the Blu-ray a few years ago,
Hmm.
theatrical release right now. It's kind of like Christian F here is in a bunch of Bleak Week screenings. It's just kind of cool how things like this will like boost the profile of a, 10, 20, 30, 40-year-old movie like that
Hmm.
that maybe isn't.
Now, now tell me how you felt about On the Silver Globe.
I don't know. So I saw Andrzej Zulawski, the director of Possession, the director of Devils, Polish filmmaker. He has an unfinished science fiction film called On the Silver Globe, which they also showed as part of Bleak Week. It's a 4K restoration of this unfinished movie. And I was just sitting there like, okay, fam. I mean, it's the first time in a long time I walked out of a movie and I'm like, I feel like Gen Pop. I mean, I feel like my dad when I show him something. I'm like, okay, dude, sure. Felt like I was. I mean, it's literally in a foreign language, but it felt like someone speaking to you in a foreign language, no subtitles, just like, okay, all right, sure.
But
It's
yeah,
singular. There's not,
I
there's other movies like I think Hard to Be a God, a movie that I hype up a lot, the final film by Alexei German, I think has some
there's a direct line from that to this.
an undeniable influence, but that movie's far more sounds really random, really incorrect to say it, but it's more coherent. Like there's a character and I'm following that character and I'm able to kind of like parse. I've also read the novel Hard to Be a
Yeah.
God, so that helps. But
And also that movie was actually finished.
and it was even though it took 40 years or however long, a
Hmm.
decade plus to film it, that it is complete. It is a complete narrative.
Yeah.
Whereas this, yeah, I wouldn't say that I disliked it. I wouldn't say that I loved it. I don't really. I just have to kind of throw in the towel and admit I don't really know what to make of that.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie, which I don't have rated on Ye Old Letterboxd, I adore. I own the British Blu-ray. This movie's about a group of cosmic explorers who go to a new planet, start a new civilization. They die off one by one, and then their children start a new mythology, a new religion, a new way of life. And it just dives so deep into that sort of ickiness about civilization making and how
Right.
stuff emerges from the primordial ooze.
Yeah,
And
I
yeah,
think like
it's
at
like an
its
assault on the
best,
senses.
it reminds me of Hard to Be a God. At its worst, it maybe reminds me of Apocalypto. Like, and it
Hmm.
has that general approach of just like, I don't really give a shit if this is a little incomprehensible to you. That is sort of, and all of his like, possessions like that. I think Possession being his most accessible and popular film speaks volumes, right? Because that
Yeah,
is a movie where, you know,
popular enough for a remake.
sometimes they just are doing stuff. Sometimes things are just happening in that movie.
It's the remix by the dude who made the Smile movies, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. And it's Margaret
That's
Qualley and who else?
I don't know. It sucks, dude. It sucks.
Session remake. I thought it was Robert Pattinson, but I don't think that's right. Oh, it's Callum Turner,
The only Possession
Mr.
remake I want to hear
Leaper.
about is the
Mr.
Robert Eggers
Lipa.
Nosferatu.
Yeah.
That's the only Possession remake that matters. The other rewatch on my end was T2. T2 on 35 millimeter, James Cameron. I have been
My money long like James Cameron.
so I've never seen T2 in theaters. Iconic, extremely important movie in my childhood. It's not just like a movie that I liked, like a movie that changed some shit. You know what I mean? Like eventually Lord of the Rings kind of came into this space, other movies came into this space. But like what probably Star Wars is to a lot of other people, right? I mean, I saw Star Wars. I loved Empire Strikes Back. I didn't really have that relationship with Star Wars till I got older.
Mhm.
T2 was that shit, man. That was that movie for me when I was 7, 8, 9, however old. I don't know how fucking young I was. It came out the year I was born, so it's just been around forever. Obviously, too early for me to see it in theaters. I think the first Cameron I saw in theaters would have been Titanic. Probably fell asleep during it. I was a child. We've had in the past few years, really since 22, Way of Water coming out, we had the original Avatar release. We had Titanic get a re-release. True Lies played around here. Aliens, Abyss got the re-release.
Mhm.
So we've been even T1. I saw 4K re-release of T1. So I've just been waiting. We're just biding my time. I'm like, it's gonna happen, and here we are. It's the 35th anniversary. Holy shit!
This goes so
Mad,
hard in a theater.
thesis
Mad Beast.
statement. I
Pretty good.
Robert Patrick, Linda Hamilton. I almost called her Lisa. Uh, I just fuck, dude. It's like truly mythic. Like truly just feels like we are sculpting in the clay of the blockbuster and promising a future of filmmaking that no one really made good on after the 90s. Not to say that we didn't, you know what I mean? Like you got like the legacy movies of this are pretty fucking good. You got like Matrix Revolutions. I would argue like there's a lot of this movie in Fury Road and even Furiosa with but that's also because there's a lot of Raiders of the Lost Ark in this movie, but this is like
Mhm.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, 80s, blockbusters. Everything is fucking happening. Here's 10 years later, and they're like, bro, now we got computer shit. We got this fucking liquid metal guy. It's crazy. We got all the horror that you could ever want inside this action movie. It's just so awesome. I don't know, man. I just some movies make you feel like a kid. Some movies you're like,
Mhm.
yes, this is very interesting and good. And some movies you're like, yeah, fucking go. And this is that one.
Mhm. Yeah, I've seen both T2 and Terminator at the Vista 35 millimeter midnight screenings, and both of those the crowds pop the hell off.
Perfect pair of movies, more similar than you think, but also like very distinct from each other.
Hmm.
Terminators, it's just so intimate. There's this romance element to it, there's a horror element to it, a survival element to it, and then the second
Hmm.
one is like drama, huge, big, right? Like everything just becomes like
Hmm.
operatic in
All
scale.
of LA gets nuked.
It's one of the great LA movies of all time. It just like the LA River
Oh
scene in the
yeah, that
truck.
scene
Oh
rocks.
my gosh, it's just the Galleria.
The Galleria, the Glendale Galleria,
Galleria.
You seen John Connor? No, I haven't seen him. That kid
saving
was
the
real.
universe by lying to cops.
Think
The, that's the choice to make Robert Patrick into a cop is genius. The whole
hmm
opening gambit of that movie, I feel like, has been lost to time because we've all seen it before or seen clips of it. But we just all kind of came into T2 being like, Arnie, he's the hero, he's the good guy. But if you've only ever seen the first Terminator, you have no idea that he's a good guy until like 30 minutes into the movie. Because he's fucking killing bikers. We got this other guy who shows up and he admittedly Robert Patrick looks pretty fucking evil and is doesn't seem good. But we don't see him like attack or kill anybody. He's just looking for John. Whereas
I
this
mean,
other guy's
it's entirely possible that uh the premise of that movie is there are two Terminators that are trying to kill these people now.
you
So it's
do
like
not
hmm
know the score until you are in the
Yeah.
back hallway of the Galleria, and Arnie shows up with that box of roses and pulls the shotty out of there. That is the
get
first moment.
down.
Because right then, John's like, "Oh fuck, he's pulling a gun on me." That is what that scene is, and I feel like you can forget that because you've seen it so many times. But if you really
hmm
lock in, it's like, oh yeah, it's pretty suspenseful actually that you don't know who the good guy is or who the bad guy is. And then when that happens, it just reframes everything. And then I've already said her name, but like Linda Hamilton is like doing Oscar shit in this movie.
She's so fucking good.
Where did this
Everybody's
come
gonna have a
from?
real bad day. Get it?
Yeah, yeah. It's like the most James Cameron movie of all time with all that dialogue shit, like all the corniness of it, all of
Hmm
the I don't know, it just comes
But
together
it
in such
works
a
so well. I
wonderful
mean,
way.
like hasta la vista, baby, and
It's
you
so
just feel
good.
like you could punch a brick wall.
It's so good. It's so good. Incredible monster work. I feel like we go from having like Michael Myers in the first movie to having like the next guy is almost the thing. How he
Yeah.
morphs and transforms and could be anywhere at any time, anyone at any time. You get a cool thing where multiple characters besides or multiple actors besides Robert Patrick to play him, most notably the mom who is the gal from Aliens and the milk carton and things, because he transforms himself into different people, you see different actors get to take their turn playing the role, which is kind of a neat dramatic thing. I don't know, man. It's just magic. I would have watched it again if they played it the next day.
It's really like the first movie I can remember seeing,
I
which is
feel
Hmm
like that
which
too.
is which is almost certainly not the case. But
Yeah.
It's the
It was
first
like the
one
movie
that
where I came online and was like, movies are amazing.
yeah, it's like
Wow.
it's the first one that I can remember watching over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Mm,
The repeat duo for me, and I think it tells you a lot about my taste and character. These are popular movies. I'm not trying to make it, but as a young kid, it was T2 and it was RoboCop, which are just two movies where like, you maybe want to be about 13 to 14 for that, not 7 to 8, but
mhm,
nevertheless, I was 7 to 8, and they're just very rated R. Not in the like, Halloween slasher way per se, although there is some of that.
mhm.
But they are like bloody, squibby, shooty,
RoboCop
explosiony.
in particular is disgusting.
It's
Yeah.
quite rated R. And then the milk carton scene of this has just been in my brain,
Hmm.
Yeah.
seared as an image.
Yeah.
Your foster parents did.
I mean, for me, like they're not as violent, but it would be The Godfather and the original Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah. There are others. I think of Seven and Silence of the Lambs as being particularly early, but I never,
Hmm.
those are not movies that you sit down and watch on repeat the way that you watch T2 or RoboCop on repeat, like wearing out the tape
Yeah.
level of, or wearing out the disc level of repeat on these movies as a kid, where
Hmm.
it's like, oh, I want to watch Empire Strikes Back again, or I want to watch Raiders again. It's like, I want to watch RoboCop again. And
I
I'm
th
sure that that just left some kind of damage or impression or something.
I think I may have rectified this, but I think I've only ever seen the director's cut of Terminator 2 because the
Not
version
my
the D
preferred.
yeah, I love the scene with Michael Biehn. Uh that's the one that stands out as like this should have been in the movie.
There's an
But that's
important one where she's like doing maintenance on him and he trusts them to like shut it down and she's got the chip and she thinks about breaking the chip and she doesn't break the
Uh-huh.
chip. That's a good character scene that's missing from the theatrical, but it's a long fucking movie either way. Um,
yeah.
Yeah.
and it's not like it's slow paced, but it's not super duper fast paced. So I don't necessarily prefer having extra shit tacked into it.
Yeah. As well, yeah. Yeah. My dad had the DVD that came in like the metal
The
steelbook.
metal, the embossed,
Yeah.
just doesn't fit on the shelf at all. Looked so
Yeah.
cool.
And did not have a DVD of Terminator 1. So I
No, we
got
were
to
the
that.
same.
Yeah.
My dad was like, I love T2. I don't really give a shit about T1. So I didn't even really have a relationship with Terminator till I was an adult.
Mm.
Yeah.
Although it was one of the early, with The Shining, which is up here, along with The Shining, probably the first time I ever saw nudity in a movie was Terminator.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm.
so make of that what you will. But yeah, that was a movie that I didn't really have a strong opinion about until I was 30.
I think that was one I rented from Netflix when
Ah,
they would send you a disc
the
in the mail.
discs. Yeah.
Yeah. If I wasn't unk enough for you on this
Anybody got
podcast.
any
You're the
any other
youngest one here.
anybody have any other rewatch stuff, Morgan? I know you've got like a project going. We can talk about that too.
Yeah. I have three projects going really. One that I haven't made any progress on is the Resident Evil one, but I have plenty of time until Zach Kreger drops. Um, the
That
other
shit
one
looks
is
cool, dude.
I can't wait.
it
I
really
can't wait.
does. Um,
He's got me anticipating a fucking Resident Evil movie in 2026. What a crazy bastard.
fucking dudes out here like, it looks a shame to be a Resident Evil movie. Get the fuck out of my face forever.
Yeah.
Um,
Saying this in the era of the Mando Gru shit where like everything is fan service is like just shut up. Shut up and sit down.
Hmm.
Spielberg's. I have 12 of those left, so I'm definitely not going to hit that before Disclosure Day.
What are the
But
you don't have to hit me with all 12, but like what are the big ones?
Color Purple, Empire of the Sun, Schindler's List.
That's
Um,
an interesting trajectory. I was just gonna say like those two are like and working up to the point when he makes Schindler's List, where it's like
yeah.
that's the one.
It's like I
That's
want the Oscar. I want the Oscar. I finally
the
get the Oscar.
serious drama, book adaptation, historical feature. We're getting away from the kiddie stuff into the real deal drama. Like there was a clear progression to Schindler's List where that one was like, whoa,
Those are like the relative heavy hitters.
yeah,
And Schindler's List, which just is a heavy hitter. But a lot of it is like not to denigrate the Post or West Side Story, but it's stuff like that.
yeah.
And And then
More
also like
recent.
Warhorse and BFG.
Right.
Um,
I love the post. I will
but
say that.
yeah,
Post is good.
so far I've done Sugarland Express, which was fun, and Always, which was shockingly
I
unwatchably bad.
hate Always. That is a
Uh,
bottom three Spielberg movie for me. Or maybe bottom five. I forget. I shared the list
Really,
at some point
just like
recently.
the people who
so
hate
hard
Spielberg,
movie.
the people who hate Spielberg think this is the movie he makes every time he makes a movie.
100%. That or Warhorse or
Yeah.
whatever. We got
Ugh,
Close Encounters playing here on 35 millimeter next week. Or maybe the week at no, I think it's next weekend. I'm very, very excited for this because I love that movie.
yeah. And the last project I'm doing, inspired by the excellent, bleh. And the last project I'm doing, inspired by the very good game that just dropped out, 007 First Light, um, is I'm gonna go and do all of the Bonds, in theory, anyways. Uh, there's again like I think 11 or 12 of those that I haven't seen, but I'm just gonna do all of them because I mean it's been ages since I've seen a non-GoldenEye Pierce Brosnan movie.
I I moderately regret that when we zoomed these together that we picked Goldeneye because I would have I just know that one better than I
Yeah,
know From Russia with Love, which I've seen but just don't
yeah,
know as well. It was also like the third fucking movie or something we were watching that night,
yeah.
swaying, I think.
We were done by like 3 or 4 my time that evening. So,
Yeah, it
um,
was fine to have something familiar, but I have the same. I haven't played the game, but I just seeing you, I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't seen any of this shit in so long, and GoldenEye too, but I've seen GoldenEye like 5 times.
yeah.
I know it.
So the first one I did was GoldenEye on the Zoom here, and then
Yeah.
I've done Doctor No, From Russia with Love, and Goldfinger. Doctor No, worse
Did you
than
do
I remember.
Thunderball?
Got like halfway through it last night.
Okay.
Um, Doctor No, worse than I remember. Extremely boring. Um, From Russia with Love, about as good as I remembered, which is just like there's like 40 minutes before this movie actually starts. Uh, but once like Daniela Bianchi gets in it and in the role and they are on screen together, it's pretty great.
Mm,
Um, Goldfinger is not the best of them. I still prefer From Russia with Love, I think. But it is easy to be like, why this is the Connery Bond movie. I
hmm
mean, it moves better than any of them. It's funnier than any of them. Um, and the
Not the best
villain,
theme song in the franchise.
sure. Um, that has a villain who is like present
Right.
and like frequently sort of faces off with Bond and they have a fun rapport. Um, but it's also the most flamingly misogynistic of the first three, which is saying something.
Mm,
Um, and it's just like it's really stupid in a way that is like for the most part adds to the flavor of the experience, but in the same way as like okay. Um, and then Thunderball, which I watched half of last night, is the best looking of those first four. Um, and is also really boring.
mm,
Um, I was looking at stats for it because I was so bored watching the damn thing. Um, that it cost as much to make as the first three combined, and it does show on screen. I mean, like it just like they're like moving the camera around, which was pretty cutting edge for a Bond movie at the time. Um, but it's just like another one where it's like this is taking 40 minutes for the inciting incident to happen.
mm.
Um,
Yeah, it's
and
interesting because those
I had
those
to,
those fall into a formula, right? I
yeah,
think those movies overall, and so it's like, where's the formula? Probably Russia with Love and Goldfinger establishing it the most concretely.
yeah.
Although I think you would say that Doctor No, he shows up pretty well. Like, yeah, this is
The
James Bond.
character, the character is 100% there. The formula is not so much.
Yeah,
Mm,
Um,
but I think that they fall then into like, okay, so then we have this kind of longer opening, and we're kind of getting in there. I even think this about the Craig. All five Craig movies are too long. Every single one of
yeah.
them is too fucking long. Um, and you may find yourself on the opposite side of that going, well, yeah, but that's a good thing. Like that's what makes it Bond. But they're all like they all seem to have that quality to me of like being patient, but then I don't know, man, do more. Casino does not have a patient opening. Casino fucking blows your face off in the first 5, 10 minutes, but it is a long movie. They're all like that to me, at least from memory.
Casino is the only one that really works like that for me. Um, No Time to Die, I would watch 5 hours of, but it's just like the running the gamut of greatest hits of that iteration of the character. So it's just
Mhm.
like it is
I mean, it felt
epilogue-ish in
like
a
five
way.
hours.
I
Wah
thought that
wah.
movie was really well directed, so I never at any point was like bored, but it's a long movie for sure.
Yeah. Um, it's like an epilogue to one of
Hmm.
these iterations in a way that none of these other movies are.
For sure.
Um,
It's the only one that really seems to have like direct sequels and like major
yeah.
continuity things happening,
Hmm.
Yeah,
other
Felix
than like
Leiter
the
shows up
staples.
in most of these Connery ones so far, and they're always like, "Hey, you're talking about that job back in Kingston," which is just Doctor No. So it's tied in that way, but like also Felix is usually a different actor each time.
Right,
So,
right.
you know,
Yeah, you have like those fixtures with Bond, the M, the money penny, the Q, the whatever,
Hmm.
but there's a certain level of like flexibility with all of it. It's another mission, it's a new villain.
Hmm.
yeah, M has always been Judi Dench to me,
Yeah.
and will at least always be a woman from here on out, I think. Sorry, Ray Fiennes. Um,
Yeah, fuck all that.
but it's like M is like nothing in these movies. It's crazy how much GoldenEye was immediately like, no, this is a character now.
Right.
And
Hmm.
she only has like the one or two scenes. Anyway, that'll be interesting. I've never seen a Roger Moore Bond movie, so that should be something.
I feel like they just are gonna get progressively goofier and goofier
Which
to an
may be
extent.
better.
But I know there's a few that people hold up as bangers. Um, Before we get into the main stuff, I need to use the restroom, so I gotta take a
Yeah, I
pause.
do too.
Hmm.
Better out than in.
Ah, Paul, do you have a visitor?
Yeah, just a friend who's stopping by.
Oh, okay, cool. Have they seen I Love Boosters by Boots Riley?
I mean, I don't know if that teleportation device goes to the back rooms just yet.
Well, it is the follow-up to Sorry to Bother You, a movie that I feel like I don't know that people talk it. Sorry to Bother You. eh, Am I right to say very 2018 movie? Like in the same way that many other movies 2017, 18, 19, like they're just locked in that pre-COVID kind of era. Not to say that
Hmm.
that they've aged poorly or that any of the ideas in Sorry to Bother You, particularly its ideas about striking, worker unity, which are very classic and as we'll discuss, much older than 2018. Just the tone and the approach of that movie was very 2018, but he also arrived at a time where like that felt very fresh. He felt very like breaking down what we expect from a comedy movie, what we expect from really just any new movie, and just there's a lot going on in Sorry to Bother You. Maybe too much. And so I was intrigued when the trailers for this new movie starring Keke Palmer and Demi Moore and co-starring Lakeith Stanfield when this trailer dropped, I thought the trailer was just really invigorating, funny, snappy, just really made me want to watch it. And I was hopeful that it would have that same energy, which of course it does, and be like a step up. I was looking for a step up. I wanted a movie that I could take home with me a little bit more. And what I got was definitely more. Um, Definitely more of it just we will never be able to say that this director doesn't take swings. That will never enter
Hmm.
our analysis of Boots Riley. Uh, this movie is about a group of women living in Oakland, California, calling themselves the Velvet Gang. They are boosters, which, if you don't know, the movie will explain to you, is a person who steals clothing or other goods from, the retail space and then resells them at a lower price to other people. There is much talk about how this is opportunistic. There's much talk about how this is quote unquote damaging to the clothing and fashion industry. And there's much talk about how there's kind of a Robin Hood characteristic to all of it, like bringing the style to the people. And Boots not only explores all of these things, but ultimately deeper contradictions, Marxism, uh, skin suits. Combining Miranda Priestley, what's her name? Was that it? Miranda Priestley with
Miranda
Elon
Priestley.
Musk.
Oh,
It's
I thought you meant Sex in the City. I don't know why, but it's a different
Devil
Miranda.
Devil Wears Prada. It's
Yeah,
another movie about style.
two
Um,
different Mirandas.
what do you guys think about this one?
This was so much fun.
It was too much fun, literally. Yeah, I'm the softest on this, which is probably not all that surprising. I'll start with the positives. I think the ensemble is largely great. I don't. The movie gets so lost in itself that it feels like none of them have the appropriate time to shine to me. Um, Especially like bit players, sort of like Taylor Page, who is in the main ensemble and should not feel like a bit player, but does.
Right.
Um, This is the first time I've ever been impressed by Isa Gonzalez in anything.
Yeah.
Um,
She was really good.
Here
um,
playing the Stephen Yoon character from
Yeah.
Sorry to Bother You.
um, did not know he was in that picture. That's cool. Um,
He's really good in it.
Likely thing for him to be. Um, this does have a really infectious forward momentum energy to it that's easy to really just get swept up in. Um, there are a number of really impressive visuals. I think of
Hmm.
like how exactly did they do the building that
Yeah.
Christy Smith works in? I have
The
questions about
Katamari
that.
Damacy ball of
Yeah.
bills and overdue
Um,
payments or whatever.
Jean-Luc Godard.
There's a
Um,
lot of stop motion stuff in the chase at the end when they're
yeah.
going through San Francisco.
Mhm.
Shouts to Eric Andre and his
As
fascist,
RoboCop.
yeah,
Yeah.
sort of anime helmet thing. I don't even know what's going on there.
Yeah.
This is the, I think Sorry to Bother You also was, but this was scored by Tune Yards, aka Merrill Garbus, who
Hey, hey, hey,
millennials,
hey, ho, ho,
yeah,
hey, ho, hey,
very
ho.
Merrill Garbusy type of music. But there's like a kind of, to your point about the propulsive, like it just feels like we're always kind of moving into the plot. There's a there's a movie that I was thinking of, and I'm sure that we can come up with other comparisons, but it's Tom Popo by Juzo Itami, which is
Mm.
a movie that also is heavily digressive, meaning that there's a story to that movie about trying to get a ramen shop up on its feet, and that like it's mid, and we're trying to make it better. And then there are these vignettes where we go to a shop and there's a guy choking, and then there's this other one where the Asian ladies are learning how to, eat with Western etiquette and not slurp noodles unsuccessfully. And so there's all these little gags and different stories and things. This movie's a lot like that.
Mhm.
Like if we actually traced out like everything that happened, you're like, wait, I thought that it was a movie about stealing clothes or like working in a clothes store, and it's like actually we just took a teleporter to China and back, and we're having like a chase between China and like things are happening. What I thought was maybe not as effective here as it would be in Tom Popo is Tom Popo has, again, just a very simple story. Some guys show up, they're going to help this lady make her restaurant better. And then that is a bus route from point A to point B. And along the way, we make a stop, we do a digression, we kind of come back. we stop, we do a digression, we kind of come back. This bus route in I Love Boosters is like we're going here and we're going over here and we're going over here, now we're going over here. Like you never lose the specific thread, and so the structure of it is goddamn all over the place
Yeah.
in a way that's more frustrating because not enough of the pieces are coming together. I also think, look, man, I love a leftist comedy. I do. I really love the sensibility of this movie. I love the things that it's about. Nothing that is good about it is you proving to the audience how smart you are. Everything that's good about it is Lakeith Stanfield redacted, 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 redacted. That shit's fucking funny. Like, be funny. And I think a lot of times the movie, you were talking about Isa Gonzalez, and I like her here too, but she also literally stops the movie to explain dialectical materialism to you through funny means, admittedly, but there's just like,
Hmm.
okay, man, I know we gotta have our vegetables here, and I
Hmm.
appreciate there being vegetables here, but I don't
I
know
don't
that that was the part of the movie that was popping off.
I don't think we need to have our vegetables here. This is a movie. I'm not I'm not reading theory.
Yeah, it's a lot of theory. And
Yeah.
delivered in a way that's like punchy and it's not terribly slow, but we talked about this teleporter. Like one of the things is like there's a character that pops up the fuck out of nowhere, literally from China, and represents like the intersectionality of these different conflicts. So we've got these black women, particularly Kiki Palmer's character, who simultaneously like wants to tear down the fashion industry by like stealing from it, but also wants to be a part of it. Like wants
Hmm.
and so it's these contradictions and like it literally is getting into like Marx and Engels and like Das Kapital. Like literally
Yeah.
directly. And it's interesting, but it's also like, man, this gets a little labored. No pun intended.
I mean,
That
it's
I
a
still
little
think is better.
heavy-handed, but
That I still think is better than explaining dialectical materials
With like a
overtly.
mullet wig.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
But
yeah,
it's also a movie that I've been quoting a lot. Like it's just got a funny script. Like for whatever reason, the line that has really stuck with me is like, "We're no, this is not the fucking time for nuance, Sade."
yeah,
It's just something that has been running through my head a bunch. It's just like funny, snappy. Kiki Palmer's great, man. Like just in
yeah,
general,
Hmm.
I don't think that she's got like an amazing amount of range, although she does a good job whenever this character has to like lock into a character beat over comedy.
Yeah.
I think that she just does a really good job piloting it. Give me more Lakeith, give me more Will Poulter, and I'll be a happy guy.
Will Poulter as Sean Hayes in The Cat and the Hat is
is the
kind of
most
brilliant.
It's not even
the
that
most
yellow in here anymore.
is the most at home he's ever felt to me is as an
Yeah.
officious fag.
And
Whatever.
then Demi Moore as Elon Musk meets Anna Wintour in her Batman 1966 apartment
Incredible
is
look,
so funny.
incredible look, good performance, few good jokes. If you are not going to do anything with her other than repeating the line about how I'm not making clothes, I'm making art, then you need to cut 90% of her screen time out. There and he angles at this whole thing. You crying black mother. Like there's that whole thing is really smart, but I don't feel like it
Hmm.
gets rooted into the plot in a really smart way. Like how is she being an agent for the system by doing these things? Like you're skirting, you're
Hmm.
explaining the Marxism at me very directly, and then like the plot points of this movie are things that are happening
Yeah.
marginally.
Yeah. At the same time, that does lead to the funniest line in the movie of I played Candace Owens today, and I thought that was so much fun.
I really enjoyed the role.
Yeah,
It's just a deeply I found it to be very flawed. I found it to be very didactic, but I liked what it was saying. And I had a great time with it. But
Hmm.
yeah, definitely a lot. I like it more than I like Sorry to Bother You, although
It's more hopeful than Sorry to Bother You.
for sure, I think it presents a clear objective Although it does rest its objective a lot on like we're picketing. It's like we're striking, and which is very much what Sorry to Bother You is also about. But it's
Hmm.
about the intersectionality of, even Will Poulter is on the wrong side of the contradiction, right? Even though he's got the hour-long break and he's one of the bosses, that there are that strata of, unemployed to employed to manager, and you're all even Demi Moore's character. There's just something left on the table, I think, not digging deeper into like her contradictions and like how it's like it wants to be serious a lot of the time, and then other times it just kind of glazes right over it in a way that I'm like, I just, it's a classic, give this screenplay five more passes. And what's funny is I think with this writer though, I don't know that he would end up with a cleaner, shorter pass after
No, he
five more.
wouldn't, and
It would be
that's that.
crazier. Like it would be like there's actually more Lakeith Stanfield shit in here now, which I would
And
appreciate.
that's like my favorite part about him is that he is so creative and just does a million different things in both of these movies.
Yeah,
So I wouldn't necessarily want like a cleaner Boots Riley. I want him to be
I think a
didactic and chaotic and just
I think a
unravel.
cleaner structure, something closer to Juzo Itami's movies, would probably work a little better for me. Very simple narrative, like we've got the fashion competition thing, and we're working like right. So there's simple
Hmm.
narrative thread, and then we're off to the races in every other aspect of it. Think about like Stop That Train, right? It's train got to get from point A to point B. Every other fucking thing that happens in it doesn't really matter because the train is on the tracks at all times, and unless it diverts here or there. This just is very literally like a chase scene of like, oh, we're here, we're here, we're here, we're here, we're here, we're here. Who are these characters? I don't know. We're kind of touching on them, and then we're leaving, and then we're not. And anyway, funny, visually extremely funny. Um, this is the best Jean-Pierre Jeunet movie
Yeah,
that has ever been made. Which is very much a backhanded compliment. Although it just, I don't know, it gets into like that delicate. I guarantee you, Boots Riley likes the movie Delicatessen, has seen
yeah.
it, likes it, like owns the DVD. Like this is very, very Delicatessen. Just
Hmm.
kind of like weird, gross out stuff next to like pastel colors and one of the gags that made me feel the most seen was the music in the store, where like he's got two options. It's like blasting beats or like also a way too loud and invasive. I fucking hate music in stores. I hate it. I hate how loud it is. I hate the music that they play. If you ever are in public with me, you will probably detect and literally hear me bitch about music in restaurants, clothing stores, the mall, the grocery store. I fucking hate it. So this made me feel very seen. That whole exchange.
Yeah, I compared it experientially to Everything Everywhere All at Once, and
I think
just
that's valid.
the
Hmm.
degree to which this is overloading you sensorily. And really where I got off with that movie while appreciating it largely is the same space where I got off with this, but still appreciated it largely.
Hmm.
I,
Um,
I'm not going to argue because I don't think it's true and I don't really think it's that important that this is like a more mature movie. Like they're both quite puerile, but I would say that Boosters is less juvenile than like the sex elements of Everything Everywhere All at Once are like hee
there's
hee
not
butt plug. And
there's
there's
not
still
any
that.
there's not any hot dog fingers in this movie.
And if there were, it would be kinkier. It would be like more gross. It would be more pushing an envelope. There's something a little edgier and more real about Boots Riley than there is about the Daniels. Does that make
Hmm.
any sense? Like
Yeah,
this
for
guy's
sure.
making movies for
Yeah.
like 22-year-olds and those guys are making movies for like 15-year-olds. Like there's just I don't want to make it purely about maturity because again, like they're both grody, sexy comedies. I don't want to say the thing. I really don't want to. Even though we spoiled the shit out of movies on this podcast, I would really rather not spoil that thing. But
Hmm.
Yeah.
like that thing would feel at home in a Daniels movie, but I don't think that they've ever done anything quite like that either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The show fucking had me rolling, dude. Just fucking so fucking gross. I was dying. That never goes anywhere, by the way. It's just a
Yeah.
subplot that goes fucking nowhere.
No, and apparently the actress is Lakeith's wife, IRL. So
His
Sure.
character's so
congrats
fucking
to her
funny.
is all
What
I
is he
gotta
reading? Is he
say.
reading Salman Rushdie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fucking tome. Funny movie. Leftist
Oh,
meme ass movie. Just wall of text, but
Yeah.
just
I think
Very
Jacob
fun.
Elordi might be the same species that Lakeith Stanfield's character in this is. Like the
Oh
same
God, totally.
where you
sect
look
of
at him
person.
and everything starts
Mm,
to warble.
yeah, with
Yeah.
the fucking, Bottega Veneta tote bags, like please.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I wish it picked like five things to be about instead of
Yeah,
20,
yeah.
but here we are.
As I rack up my favorite comedies of the 2020s, I really don't know what kind of story it's like this and Rumors by Guy Madden and the two other guys. Like, wait,
Rumors is great.
but like, imagine watching it. Imagine showing your most normal friend double feature of Rumors and then I Love Boosters back to back and trying to explain to them. It's like, well, see, this is based on the real life G6 conference and the Canadian Prime Minister. You're like, well, I don't know, dude. I don't know what the fuck it means that I find these two movies this funny, but I do. I do love Rumors. I do recommend Rumors, but I don't recommend going in with like huge expectations. Just, I love strong women. I love them too much. Fucking hilarious. Charles Dance is the American president.
Charles Dance as Joe Biden was
This is a fucking
inspired.
A plus gag. Don't not masking his accent at all. He's just Charles Dance.
And I saw that and they had the Q&A and they were like, we were not inspired by Joe Biden at all. And we're like, come on now.
Come on. No, no, Kate Blanchett is not playing Anne Merkel. That's not true. She's totally a different
Yes.
person. The Prime Minister of Italy just handing people salami. The movie's so funny.
Love the death of Stalin.
It's
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
just fucking goofy. Movies where characters will jerk off and that's the punchline of like the political satire.
Did you see Ian Uchi's writing Paddington 4?
I don't know what to make of that. He should have written that Olivier Assayas movie, The Wizard of the Kremlin. That would have been a fun collab
Mm.
and maybe salvaged whatever the fuck is happening there.
Should have resurrected Jim Gandolfini and had him play Putin.
I love In the Mood
Oh,
so
oh
much.
God, that would be good.
So, main event, Zoomer time. We're dialing forward the clock, to these two new horror movies. I guess we'll go ahead and start off with the earlier one, Obsession, since that released first. I think Morgan, you want to take the reins on this one?
Yeah, had a unique, visceral, and emotional response to Obsession,
Mm.
which I think is something that the movie really it digs at certain things that feel both tried and true in the horror genre, but also have such a 26-year-old in 2026's perspective on things of that just I am 26 years old in 2026. So this was like the bullseye is right here, and he shot me through the front of my head. Um,
I'll say that I'm not getting into Backrooms. We're not talking about that yet. I will say that between these two movies, this is the one that felt more, not that it felt more made like somebody of Gen Z, but like that was more of a defining characteristic. You could have gotten somebody else to make Backrooms. Would have been fine.
yeah,
But to your point, like the material of this is like, no, that is pretty locked into a generational thing, I think. This would be a very different movie if Zach Cregger made it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Although I could feel his
Part
influence on this for
Sure.
sure.
Yeah. Part of that though is that like this movie has like themes and characters. But we'll get to that. Um much is made of Indy Navarrette's performance. Um
Well, cast in this is quite good.
Hmm.
yeah. Um yeah. There's not I haven't seen a turn like this in a horror movie. It's clearly playing on like a specific lineage of this kind of female screams at you. in horror
Mhm.
performance, which tends to be extremely up my alley. We don't need to unpack why, doesn't matter. But um, you know, Isabella Johnny gets brought up, Cheryl Lee gets brought up, and it is of that flavor. Like I can certainly see an inspiration point of that, but there's a um she manages to portray what is going on in the interior of her character
Mhm.
while playing a character that is the inverse of what that character is experiencing. What faces outward conveys what is facing inward while being contradictory, which is both an impressive feat of performance direction and of performance. Um, I don't really want to. Again, everyone in America has seen this movie, but
Yeah, I think at this point, if you're listening, these are our two mains, so we can do it. We can pull the
yeah,
Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
um,
We don't have to talk about Lakeith Stanfield's teeth, but we can talk about this.
yeah. I
That
love
was crazy.
Baraka. I love Baraka from Mortal Kombat. Um,
Mortal Kombat 2.
that was a picture I saw. That was fun. Um,
Yeah.
so it's an impressive feat of both performance direction and of the performance itself. And it feels to me so informed by real life experiences of like either being the protagonist of this movie or being friends with the protagonist of this movie at some point in real life.
Mm.
And just either way, it's happened so many times or uh seen in such detail that eventually the bile that the writer and director Curry Barker has for this kind of person, whether it was a version of himself that he used to be or someone that he knew, uh, just at a certain point completely overflows the
Yeah.
movie, where like
Mhm.
the protagonist of the movie is extremely passive, but that is because the antagonistic force of the movie, so to speak, is so overt and forceful, and it eventually becomes like, a punishment chamber for the kind of person that is at the center of this movie. And I found that for as much as this is visibly a debut horror feature film from somebody, I found that extremely emotionally overwhelming to a point where it's like sometimes movies for me are like if it does this one thing right enough that like the bar shoots past that and we can get to something that is just like all of the other things sort of fall aside. That's not to discount a lot of the things that are going on here. I think almost every element of this is successful, but it hit me in the way that it did because it did that one thing to such a overwhelmingly forceful degree that it's like this is my favorite movie of the year, is what I'm saying.
I think other movies have taken aim at this, maybe not specific character archetype, for whatever reason. The first one that's popping into my head, I guess it's because I'm trying to say that not everybody's very successful with it, is Promising Young Woman and like the Bo
Yeah.
Burnham character, where you've got this
Mhm.
guy who's like he's the nice guy, but then he's a shithead. That's like the rug pull is surprise, he sucks. He's not a good guy. He's
Mhm.
just nicer on the surface than other shithead alternatives, right? But that doesn't mean that like he cares or that he's open, right? Like he's still self-serving. He's still because the thing in this movie, right? It's the whole premise is like a monkey's paw. It's I made a wish, but
Which he got from
digging
The
into
Simpsons, by the way.
what's that? The monkey's
He
paw?
he admitted he got it from The Simpsons.
The yeah. I guess there is a monkey's paw episode of that show.
Yeah,
It's probably a Treehouse of Horror episode, I think.
I believe so.
Um, and you funny thing to say, but it's like you got it from O. Henry, but you didn't know that. But that's okay. That's the truth. It's like you got it from that's very millennial Gen Z thing to do, is synthesizing older culture from more recent pop culture. So one day somebody will be like, I got it from that movie Obsession,
Mhm.
um, when they're talking about it. But there's a monkey's paw thing of he gets the wish willow and he makes the wish, and it's like, what does it mean that you wished to change somebody else and not change yourself, so to speak, right? I want
Mhm.
her to love me. I don't want to be different. I don't want to change. I want her to, that kind of thing. And what does that mean? What does it mean to pass off, because you're talking about Morgan, how he's like this passive character. It's like the wish represents a passive action. Like I'm not going to do anything. I want the world to change and conform to me. And it's
Mhm.
this kind of self-serving attitude, and I think it is something that exists very much with, and I'll combine the generations again, millennial Gen Z, where it's you're a polite young man. You're not an asshole. You don't beat people up. You don't do things that are wrong. You don't break the law. So why isn't the world just falling the fuck into my lap all the time, right? Like I don't,
Mhm.
what is that? And it's that character. It's that nice guy archetype that
That
I think a lot of
entitlement.
that I think a lot of art in the next 20 years is going to be taking a stab at in some way, shape, or form. And we've seen clumsy versions of it. I would say this is one of the better versions of it. I think another movie that I felt was very similar to this, sort of, is the drama, the Borgley film, the
Yeah.
drama. The Robert Pattinson character in that is a millennial, right? He's the millennial version. He's this guy 8 years older. And it's his passivity and it's his like, oh, I don't know what to do about this situation. And the movie's poking him in the eye for being so fucking wimpy about everything that he's going through, in my opinion. Likewise, these two, and I'll throw, I think in my letterbox review, I threw out Send Help. They all kind of have this pump fake with the woman character. Maybe Send Help the least because you're like, but there's an Annie Wilkes misery characteristic to her. There's an Annie Wilkes characteristic to the character here in Obsession, and it's like, but it's breaking that down. It's like, ooh, is Zendaya, oh, is she, and it's like, ooh, is this movie going to be kind of like misogynistic, or like, what does it mean that we're focusing on that? And it kind of draws you in one direction to kind of like, whiplash you as it yanks you back the other way. And it's hard for me to articulate this point because they all do it in different ways, but all of them work with a woman character where you might think like, oh, she's a crazy bitch, she's obsessive, whatever. But there's this underlying thing that makes that perception that you might have a misdirection. And that
Mhm.
misdirection is quite forceful. That misdirection is extremely intentional and part of the overall thing. Maybe one aspect of the drama that doesn't really work for me is like, yeah, that misdirection just doesn't. It felt a little stupid. You can't really misdirect me as much as the movie thinks it can misdirect me, and I maybe feel the same way here. But I also think it's smarter. I think it's smarter in this case if you are tracking what's really happening. Who is the real bad guy of this movie is not like a mystery for you to solve. It's something that the movie wants to unpack in a thorough way. And that I thought was effective.
Yeah, I mean, the three of them to me are unified by the fact, like, yes, the woman is crazy or possessive or like flawed in some way, but it's
Mhm.
also it's most literal in Obsession, where it's like because the man made me this way,
Yep.
Yes.
where it's like
And that's where
his
Send Help gets it too, right? Is like that's the
yeah,
corner that these guys put me in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it is literal in this way because she's like the only reason this movie is not called Possession is because that movie exists.
Right.
Um, um, he literally turns her through magic into something that he owns, and she has reactions to that. Um, and it's less literal, almost in like a degrading step of like send help and then the drama of that being the through line. But I see what you're getting at very much in the sense of like men, the annoying internet simplification of this is men are trash.
Right.
And like that's the center point through which all of these movies span out from.
100%.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Garbage people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um
Honestly, to take it back even further, the movie that I thought about when I got out of the screening was Fatal Attraction.
Mm.
You know, Bunny Boiler, Verdict, Cat. But, in 1987, the men cheat and, they're still able to go out into the world. In 2026, the men are such
Right.
fucking wimps. They
We've
can't
gone
even
from
go
Don
up to a woman.
Draper to Gordon Gekko to like, I don't know, fucking Ben Shapiro or
Men
whatever.
who won't even eat pussy. Like, we are
Right, right,
backsliding.
right.
And because of this, the men are just getting worse
It's
and worse.
and I guess I was building to that idea too. Like it's a generation of men, two generations of men. Two, it's two now, where it's like I don't want to be Andrew Tate. I don't want to be James Bond. I don't want to be this misogynistic fucking asshole. But you didn't forge a path into being a new guy. You just kind of settled for like not being an asshole as like the
Hmm.
pantheon of
Yeah.
self-actualization.
You decided to sit on the sidelines and now you're complaining that the world isn't bowing down to you.
I think that's kind of the arc. That's kind of the that's sort of the character archetype. I think that's
Hmm.
and I'll get off the drama after this, but I do think like that was where I connected with that character. That's what that character just very like liberal art school, oh, I'm just trying to be the nicest guy I can be. I don't know why I made him Australian. He's English. My
no
bad.
Australian has ever said, "Oh, I'm gonna be the nicest guy I can be."
No,
That's not
no,
a thing that those
never.
people say.
No, they can't afford to say that down there.
No.
Fucking
They're
prison
battling
island.
spiders the size of my head every single day. But yeah, I
It's the
thought
damn land
the
of the lost down there.
yeah, seriously, but I thought the central pair in this was great. Michael Johnston as Bear, I mean, he's not technically an incel, but he's like really damn close. And he crosses the line of this movie multiple times. Was just such a great depiction of a total complete loser who has no drive, no passion for anything, just wants stuff without really understanding why. Just like sort of this animalistic mind in his mind. And yeah, Indian Navarette, who I haven't seen her in anything, but watching this, I was like, she's the next big thing. Like she's gonna have a 50-year career.
I think that
Yeah.
And
a lot of
it's
her like outside to like just her personality, like
mhm.
I don't want to be oversimplification, but like there's like a Jennifer Lawrence kind of just like she just feels
Yeah.
a little more real, a little like
Hmm.
more unfiltered, and then has the talent to back that up in a way that I
And
think that's just primed to explode.
And
and the
Call of Duty
trickiness
streamer.
and the trickiness of the performances, you have the theatrics, you have the, no, 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 we're having a nice day. And then combine
Right.
that with the moments where her actual person, the real Nikki, is trapped inside whatever the hell has taken control of her body is terrifying. Like the sex scene, a nightmare, literally a
Yeah.
nightmare where you see her crying because she has no agency.
Mm.
Her body is under control by something else and she can't fight back.
I think that reminds me a lot of another Lakeith Stanfield movie and another movie, like just probably the most influential horror thriller of the past
Oh
20
God, yeah.
years. It's Get Out, right?
Of,
It's Get
of the
Out where
century, frankly.
right where the tear coming down the face, the no 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 no
Hmm.
no just reminded me of that where you were talking about that,
Hmm.
where they all have that same kind of tension of I'm possessed by some entity, but there's also something else inside of here
Hmm.
that's like wrestling and
Funny
losing
enough,
for
I've
the
been to
most
that
part.
restaurant. It's okay. It's like
Yeah,
decent Italian American.
they have blown up that spot. Like people are taking pictures in that booth and
Yeah,
shit now.
I know. And you can go to the crystal shop in Burbank. There's like a line down the block.
Yeah. The moral of this movie is actually do not go in those fucking crystal shops. Just
Or like read a
don't.
couple stories, like learn a little bit about the monkey's paw situation, and like,
And be a better person.
hey man, I'm gonna wish for like season tickets to the local sports club. I want to
Mhm.
go, something like
Because
that.
that's one of my favorite details is, he talks to the shop owner and he's like, I know two people who made wishes, they totally turned out fine. I don't know what your fucking problem is.
And
Because the wish is a reflection of who you are as a person.
This movie's very funny. I've heard a lot of the
Very.
discomfort take, and I get that. I understand. It can be both. I always think about what we were talking about Gilroy and talking about the other Gilroy. I always think about Nightcrawler because I think Nightcrawler's fucking hilarious, but it's not a movie that gets me to laugh ever.
Mhm.
Like it
yeah.
it 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 walks a perfect line between like using comedy to sort of ratchet the tension without using laughs to ever release the tension. So you're just like,
Mhm.
fuck, shit, for 2 hours. And I
Yeah.
imagine that's sort of the, but this movie's really funny.
I mean, to me, the funniest moment was when the friend who made the wish for the $1 billion walks in and is like, "Hey, I got the money," and she immediately.
Yeah, yeah.
Let that motherfucker up. There's a lot of discourse about his like, is he the actual villain of this movie? And it's like, no, we need to focus, damn it. No, it's Bear. It's the main character. Yes, Ian is a scumbag for like not communicating with people.
Mhm.
The villain of this story is a lack of communication.
Yeah.
People not using their grown-up words.
The real mystery of the story is how did that music store have so many employees?
Andy Richter got that shit rolling in.
Losing all your staff in one night.
Gen Z is bringing back all the industries that the millennials killed. That's the moral.
Yeah.
You guys are our
Yeah.
last hope.
This movie was made on a budget of $750,000.
Impressive.
It is probably going to finish with around 300 million.
Its partner in crime at the box office. I don't know. You can probably tell me the budget of Backrooms, but it's got to be a lot larger. It's
10
obviously the
million.
marketing budget, what, 10 million? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a modest budget. It really is, in today's day and age. For a horror, maybe obviously the extravagance, the sets, the stars. There's a lot that they put into it, but I wouldn't say that they blew the budget on that kind of thing. But I think it shows. I think as Morgan was talking about with James Bond, comparatively, and I've tried to walk the line on this, and I've already had people kind of call me out, whether it's in our friend circle or online. I don't like how Obsession looks. Now, there are key scenes. There's one key scene, and y'all, the eyes, you know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was
Very,
great.
very Kiyoshi Kurosawa core in terms of like the
Hmm.
lighting and how things are looking. But while it does coalesce into some, that like dread-inducing, slow-moving horror stuff,
Hmm. Yeah.
what the fuck am I looking at? Where am I looking? Overall,
When
I
she's in
felt
the
like
corner.
I overall just felt like, if that's a technique that you're using in that scene, cool. But the whole movie just kind of felt fuzzy, cloudy, dim, digital in a way that I'm just not a fan of. We could
Hmm.
talk all day and night about how thematically purposeful, whether it coalesces into those great moments, but it's just a personal taste thing. I
Yeah.
will say, I like the look of Backrooms more. All those custom sets, the way that they've lit things, it's just a good looking movie. Like the frames of it and the production design of it are beyond reproach. Although I've got a lot of notes formally, because in my mind, give Obsession $5 million,
Hmm.
give Backrooms $70,000. But that's me, and I know it's like very, very the opposite. But I was having I have another buddy named Zach, who he and I were talking prior to this movie, and we just were both like, now, why would the Backrooms movie be the one that you blow out the production budget for? Considering that, like, look at the back of Cole's monitor here. That is a space, in theory, that exists in real life all over the place. Just go to a Midwestern town that they built up around some offices that no longer exist or have anybody in them, and you don't have to build a set at all. It's maybe the concept of a movie, which is based on an internet meme, a 4chan internet meme. It is maybe the movie premise of all time that has least needed intricate set building, possibly. And yet, here we are. Hard thing to bitch about. hard thing to not like it when the movie builds sets, especially when we're talking about did this other movie use AI generated
Mhm.
backgrounds and digital backgrounds and the volume backgrounds
Yeah.
and
The
X, Y, and Z.
set's so big that the crew regularly got lost.
Am I out of line for saying that I feel like that led them to making a movie that feels too spatially coherent?
I do wish that like this the rooms rearranged themselves every time they went in. That would have made it even creepier.
It feels like there is a very set, cut and dry, like ultimately when you go into the back rooms, it's no different than navigating through Disney World or IKEA. There's a
It's
set
very
layout of the whole
IKEA.
place. You could draw yourself a map and get from point A to point B. And I sort of understand. So if we drop into the actual like way that the movie's plotted, you have a character who is played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, the Oscar winner, and he is down on his luck.
I don't think
He's
this guy has
either
an
the he's
Oscar.
like what's didn't
He's a
he win?
nominee.
Did he not
Yeah.
win?
No,
No, that
because
was
Matthew McConaughey. Fuck.
yeah,
all
yeah.
right, all right, all right.
I'm just gonna sit with that for a second. Just let that sit on my spirit and feel bad about it. Ew.
Yeah, he and
Gross.
Leto swept.
Gotta let that marinate.
At least Lupita won, I guess.
Yeah.
Ew. Anyway, he's not gonna win an Oscar for this. Uh although, I guess it might have some revitalization with the success. I didn't really.
I mean, a production design nom would be pretty fun.
Yeah, I could see that happening for sure. Just given the intricacy and the financial success combined, make it a reasonably good candidate, I would think. But he is the down on his luck, like manager. He might be the owner. I don't think he's the owner, but he seems to be like the proprietor of this
Hmm.
furniture store. And he finds his way into the back rooms, which is like this hidden, expansive space of all these crazy MC Escher looking hallways that seem to reconfigure the space and do weird stuff with it. You have like big, complicated piles of furniture and like things sunk into the floor and weird just mysterious, illogical shit. But when he phases into it, the first time he goes on a little adventure, gets spooked by something back there, and then comes back out basically more or less the way that he came in. He maybe gets a little turned around. And then the next time that we see him, he's recruited some people to help him, including an employee and her boyfriend, and they're recording it on
Hmm.
the camcorder. And he's like, yeah, follow me. I'm going to go to this place. And it feels like that one trip should be the one and only time that the Backrooms ever behaves itself vis-a-vis being able to navigate it. Like, otherwise, it should be shuffling itself around or like doing Matrix shit where you open the door, close the door, and it's like different fucking rooms. Or I, the comparison for me, and Cole, you made this comment already. This director's 9 years old or something, so he's never seen
20.
Last Year at Marion Bad. But that's the movie, or The Shining, which is heavily based on Last Year at Marion Bad.
There's a lot of Shining influence in
A
this.
lot. But one thing that
It's
those
one of the
movies
three
do,
movies he's seen. So
right, right, because he's 4 years old, um, is that in Last Year at Marion Bad, the whole movie presents you a place. It's called Marion Bad, which is where all these things are taking place. It's like this grand manor. There's a big garden, but in truth, it's like three or four locations that are spliced together in the edit. And you either don't detect this or you do detect it, but there's an uncanny sense of like discontinuity and like weirdness where Delphine Seyrig is walking down a hallway and it cuts and it's still her. It's a match cut, but now she's walking down a completely fucking different hallway. You're like, whoa, whoa, dad. Ugh. And it throws you off and it keeps you guessing and disoriented basically at all times.
Hmm.
There is no disorientation in the back rooms to me. Like this is like that is not an element that this movie has in its arsenal. And that's a problem. I think that's a problematic thing for trying to execute this concept. But what there
So,
is a lot of is like Reynat Reinsve narrating psychobabble at you.
so the plot of
yeah,
this basically, so it's 1990 in San Jose,
Why is
California.
it why is it 1990? Time out, time out, time out, time out, time out. I Zoomer director, I get it. Meme movie, I get it.
I
Why is it set in 1990? Why
I
creatively is it set in 1990? And why do
I
you,
I
a
think it
person
is
who is 2 months old, why? Why are you
I think
making that choice?
I think it's because the original YouTube content is made to look like it's like on a VHS camera.
Mhm.
Which makes
And
sense, the analog horror
yeah,
thing.
it's
and
it's
I
also by far the best looking parts of this movie.
oh yeah,
Agreed.
So
especially
That
the
opening scene.
opening.
yeah.
The opening got me.
That was good. Because again,
I
it's really immediate and it's not
mhm,
doing the discontinuity stuff, but it is very like you haven't seen a big wide shot of this place. You're just shit, where are we? What the fuck is this? Ah,
mhm,
and that is the
yeah,
sensation that I would like to be
yeah,
experiencing more. And the
and
distortion of the video helps with that too.
mhm, yeah, and I do think that there is something genuinely thematically interesting about this. About it's a period piece set in 1990. Director's born in fucking 2005.
Right. I want to be clear, I don't think that's wrong. Richard
Yeah.
Linklater, well, I don't know if he would have been alive in the 70s. Point being, that happens. Christopher Nolan wasn't alive in the 1940s.
Hmm.
Oppenheimer's a good movie.
Yeah.
But that's a very thoroughly researched, felt out, like the period matters, and they took it seriously. Here, it
And,
feels like set dressing, and no one really took it that seriously,
yeah.
which is fine, but then why do it?
But I think that does tie into something actually because these characters are walking around this faded, corrupted place that remembers stuff but remembers it wrong. It's like describing a dog to someone who's never seen a
Yeah,
dog, and you're asking them to draw it. And something that Gen Z is apparently obsessed with is, the horror of liminal spaces, which is honestly a fear that can only exist if you live in a dying, failed empire like the
sure,
United
sure.
States of America.
The
So because
empty
we have
spaces,
this
abandoned spaces.
obsession with nostalgia for stuff that we weren't alive for, and because our parents are fucking forcing it down their throats, they still want it to be 1990 no matter what, and we have to sift through all the rubble.
But isn't it rubble if the movie is set in 2015?
It would still be rubble even then.
Because then it's 90s rubble that's now 25 years old, as
Yeah, but
opposed to it's 1990 and we're in 1990.
yeah, but then you're
That
filming
part's
it on an
weird.
iPhone 10 or whatever instead
Yeah,
of
yeah, that's the other
like it's
thing.
this is that
Then it goes digital.
Well, you
yeah.
could make it, well, okay, to be fair, this is more the millennial approach, but I'm thinking of it more now as like shit, what's that movie? I've seen it twice. Lake Mungo, where you set it in like 2008 and you film it
Mhm.
on a DV, right? Like an old shit digital camera or like a cell phone or something. And then it's just more Blair Witchy. Whatever the fuck it is you're trying to do, make it more Blair Witchy. I don't even love that movie, but it just feels like the sauce that this is missing to an extent. This feels like a fantasy film to me. The environments, I mean, it feels like Wonderland. It feels like Oz. It feels like, but we don't even have like a stalker level of, well, okay, that's high. We're gonna pull that back. That's a very high bar.
That's something most people can't reach.
Correct. But there's not really even an attempt to be like that. I wouldn't think. It just feels a little too concrete, a little too literal, maybe. I also don't know
Eh,
that having a monster in there is a good thing, but that's been kind of a
no,
discourse
no, we'll
topic.
no, I'll talk about that now. Okay, I'll just start. I haven't really talked. I hated this movie. This bored the absolute shit out of me. Um, like immediately almost. There's like the dude's running through the back rooms because something's chasing him. And it's like, well, you don't need to be in the back rooms to have something chase you, do you? Like, and you don't even need to be in the back rooms to get lost somewhere. So it's like it's immediately undercutting its own atmosphere that it's trying to build and its own tone by having that thing behind Cole, which looks like the thing in the Smiling Friends meme that jumps out in front of the yellow guy and he goes, "Dude, seriously, if you do that again, I'm gonna punch you." Like these are not these things are not scary. Big wooden peg leg Chiwetel Ejiofor is like I had to suppress laughter. Like I don't even really understand what this movie is trying to get at, and I don't think it understands what it's trying to get at either. It's so nascent of a concept that it's like this either needs to be 15 minutes long or No, it just needs to be 15 minutes long. I don't know why this has a screenplay. Why does this have Chiwetel Ejiofor and Renata Reinsve in it?
I think it needed to either lean way more into what it's saying or just cut it entirely. It is kind of caught in this middle place.
Yeah.
But the core theme I got is that just like Obsession, men will literally build their little fantasy world and rather admit that they're in the wrong.
But
Which
like, why is that what it's about? That's very weird.
Uh,
It's fine. I don't usually want to bitch about there being like characters, but the characters in this are so stock that I can't really say that I'm that passionate about. Like,
yeah. Their
I
stock, they're played well because, well, they got wildly overqualified
right,
people to
Oscar
play them.
nominees, yeah. Um, yeah,
it's just
I just don't understand the idea of making this like a larger budget extravagance. It feels like this is a, and I know there is a short film, but it just feels like cheap, down and dirty. Use the space. Like you want to make a point about 90s decay, get the fuck out there with your camera and go record 90s decay. It's everywhere. It is literally everywhere. Everywhere. Every highway in Los Angeles, 90s decay. Like they're all over the place, dude. You don't have to like build things to find that's sort of antithetical to the idea, in fact, is building more stuff. You should go find the stuff that's been built and is rotting and has that vibe. If you really want liminality, go find it. I don't even find that anything in this movie suggests liminality. I don't even think that it successfully gets that concept across. And that's fine. Although I would then have personally voted for like get weirder faster. If you're not gonna do that part of it, because liminality isn't anything. I mean, watch Kiyoshi Kurosawa's any movie that he's ever made, but particularly I'm thinking like Serpent's Path. It's a movie. There's nothing surreal, or there's nothing like surreal or supernatural. It's a movie
Mhm.
where they're trying to do a revenge thing, and the whole thing takes place in these like fucking dingy concrete spaces. There's like guys chained to the wall and shit. It's all shadowy. You can't see things very well at times. That's liminal. There's like, it's creepy. It's unsettling. It's weird. There's like a room full of TV monitors making the room glow and you can't see shit else in the room. It's just like, oh, I hate this place. That doesn't ever happen in the Backrooms. Nothing here ever registers as like, oh yeah, I've been and sounds silly, but like I've spent a lot of time, especially when I was a teenager, trawling around through places like this. Whether like there's this mall here in Dallas that's recently been torn down, the Valley View Mall. Anybody that's familiar with it, there used to be an AMC there. So I can tell you like I saw Arrival there. I saw pretty much any movie between like 2016 and 17 that was like a major AMC release. I saw at this fucking movie theater in an abandoned mall. Like literally some of them would have been rented out to like kids doing karate practice and then just empty stall, empty stall. You lift up a sign, you walk down a food court that hasn't had anybody in it in 10 years. Like, so I am very locked in and keyed in
Mhm.
on what it feels like the sense of wonder and exploration and a little fear and discomfort and like what the fuck is this? And the
Yeah.
sadness and the malaise. Like there's so much there. I just don't think this movie is capable of grasping at any of it meaningfully. And it's all kind of down to how they approach the environment to me.
I
Feels yeah.
I think the problem for me at the root of this movie is that it is so wildly insecure in its own process and like how it wants to communicate this world and whether it like just what it even wants to be. Because like it clearly wants to be a horror movie, but like the environments are just sort of like, oh, this is just sort of wrong, you know? It undercuts its own atmosphere so greatly by having some like thing from the amnesia games that will chase you around that it's like I don't know. Like I think part of the reason that that Obsession is doing so well is because it has people that we're not sick to death of seeing in it. And like Renata Reinsve and Chiwetel Ejiofor are so like they feel so cynically cast to me in the sense of like we want to legitimize this and
Yeah.
like give it some weight in the art house scene. And it's like, but this kid has seen like five movies. His
well,
primary influence for this movie is Portal.
the interesting thing about Renata being in this movie is that she was a recast, actually. They originally hired Krista Milotti, but negotiations fell through. So then this ends up being Renata's Hollywood debut.
And she's Norwegian for no reason. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like any of those characters needed backstory. It definitely doesn't feel like we should come in with. You could make the argument, and I have for a movie like Gravity, where movie star personas, which there is a big fucking difference between George Clooney and Sandra Bullock and then these two in
Hmm.
terms of vibe, right? Those are
Yeah,
like vanilla with cherry on top, sundae, chocolate sauce, like very classical movie star. Ejiofor is like the guy from 12 Years a Slave. That's a thespian. You know what I mean? It's a different kind of vibe. It's a different kind of energy. So when
hmm,
Gravity's doing that, it's like, hey, we're making this disaster action thriller space movie, and we're using these two monster movie stars so that you can just get right into the shit. You just boom, boom, boom,
yeah,
Sandy Bullock, let's go. This is different because the persona of Reinsva is like the girl from the Joachim Trier movies and that one weird austere zombie movie that I liked. Like that is a very different specific
yeah.
connotation that you're bringing
Hmm.
into this to do a character that I guess I'm just a little unclear on the objective of the movie, and it sounds stupid because what I'm saying is it's trying too hard to be a movie. It's trying too hard to be like a narrative feature film instead of being like a formal experiment descent into this degraded horror space,
Yeah.
which I
I
think
mean,
is what it needs to be.
if you went full Michael Snow with this, it would
Oh,
probably be so much better.
and it would make no money, and it surely wouldn't have had a $10 million budget, but it
No.
would be kind of legendary, probably. It might have that Blair Witch thing. I'm interested by why, or if you guys have any thoughts as to why this has this much buzz. Because the buzz predates the movie. The buzz is not how good or how bad the movie is. It was
Hmm.
a hit before the fucking movie came out. And I'm curious as to, there's obviously a generational, and I think it goes beyond Z. I think it goes all the way into Gen Alpha. I think like the younger kids are into this shit
Definitely.
too. And there's kind of a fucking, I don't know, skibbity toilet to the whole damn thing. It's beyond me.
There's a touch of Five Nights at Freddy's, of course,
Yeah,
the obsession with lore that everyone's
yeah.
into. And like
The idea of the
I
Backrooms having lore is like, shut the fuck up.
I am grateful that this movie did not ask you to know lore.
Yeah. It's literally like the original thing, and I'm sure you guys have seen it, but it's a green
Hmm.
text 4chan post. It's a room that looks quite like the one in your image, and it's like, you clip through the wall and you're stuck in the back rooms, and it's just like endless layers of yellow wallpaper and blah 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 blah. But it's like a real picture of a real, I mean, it may not be real. I assume it's real. Picture of that office space, and I think it's like a prompt for your imagination and just I know I feel like I'm circling the same point, but there's just too much here that's literal. Too much here that gets away from whatever I would interpret to be trying to tell a story based on something as abstract and limited as like an internet meme or the concept of liminal horror, which I
Hmm.
know I've talked to you guys both about, but like there is just something kind of tiresome and like emoji movie. Or Five Nights at Freddy's, I think is a really good example where it's like we're really doing like Slender Man here. This is
Yeah,
really just Slender Man.
yeah. Something about people trying to understand the remnants of what they're living in, which really just seemed to tap in with people. I mean, this movie opened as big as Oppenheimer and as big as June at the domestic box office.
And
That's
It's at an
difficult to parse.
82 million dollar
Shouts to the
opening
Odyssey
weekend.
tickets fucking shutting down the AMC app for like an entire day. No one can see Sheep Detectives or Is God Is.
That was chaos.
this is just like not a movie. This is not a movie. This is like it's an idea, and that's not compelling.
It's at its best when it's leaning more experimental. When we're
It,
getting into the nitty
the
gritty of
VHS imagery.
when we're getting into Chiwetel Ejiofor recreating the night his wife kicked him out of the house, which is a well acted scene because those are two great actors,
I
it's
hated
still
that shit.
it's still not as engaging as it should be.
Excise that from the movie entirely. This movie is like 110 minutes long. It should be
It is a little
70.
long.
It should be 70 at the maximum. Because it's like the crux of this movie is wandering around a space. I don't need to do that for an hour and 50 minutes.
I yeah, I continue to think like it's just a very limited. You could make any movie and then have a scene where they wander around a space. And I'm going back to Kiyoshi Kurosawa. He's got a movie called To the Ends of the Earth, and it's a movie about these, they're Japanese characters. They are in, I want to say Georgia. They're in like a Eurasian country, right? And they're doing like a documentary. And there are times where like the character like, "Oh, I've gotten separated from the group because I was walking around in this crowd and now I'm just like in a place and I don't like it. I don't like the vibes of this place," right? In a very Kiyoshi Kurosawa kind of way.
Hmm.
You can just do that. You can just rip that scene off in any movie. You don't have
Yeah.
to build, you can build a movie around it. I'm not saying it's wrong. Like The Shining
Hmm.
is built around it. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, shouts, but like even The Shining is like, it's not just wandering around a place. It's like a family and we're doing this thing.
Yeah.
All the domestic stuff in The Shining is so important to it, and it just feels very labored here for sure.
Yeah. Mhm. And I do wonder if isolation in general is just like another aspect why this is popping off so hugely because
Sure.
we live in such an isolating world now where you can
Mhm.
build your algorithm, you can have
I I I
the
work in
robots
my
deliver.
shop, or I
Hmm.
live in my shop.
You can
I
have
just
the
go to bed and I
robots
wake up.
deliver
I'm right
food
here.
to your door,
Yeah.
you're just cut off from everything and it drives you mad.
What the fuck was going on with Mark Duplass in this movie?
That's the YouTube lore shit.
Yeah.
Where it's like it
That
felt very Stranger Things, even that opening scene, where it's
it,
like, ooh, the secret
mhm.
scientists who are doing like evil things.
Yeah. I did think it was funny to basically have him come in as like the doctor at the end of Psycho and only be like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I mean,
We're
neither do
just
we.
looking around and well,
It's kind of a funny swerve, but I don't actually need a
yeah.
character. If you could just
Hmm.
not comment on it, then it would simply be something that we didn't know. We would
Yeah.
just be like, I guess that's what the backrooms are, dude. They do some crazy shit.
Yeah.
That's why the lore is so like I don't it's actually not I don't mind the idea of like, oh yeah, there were other people and they were studying this once and then we don't really know what happened. It's like in The Thing. The Thing. That's the ultimate version of it, right? Is like the Swedish
Yeah.
people who were like, we went to their camp and they were fucked. We don't know. Something bad happened.
They're
They uncovered something and
Norwegians.
then whatever. It's all this fucking same to me.
Like they're not
Sorry.
a Rhinespith.
Sorry, Oscar winner Joachim Trier.
The ideal version of this movie does exist, and I mentioned it when I came out of the movie. It's a Shinya Tsukamoto film called
Oh yeah.
Haze.
Mm.
It's 49 minutes long.
Probably cost
Uh,
7 nickels.
yeah, and
And Shinya Tsukamoto is like every crew role is him
Hmm.
in
yeah,
that Hong
and
Sang-soo kind of way.
I'll just read for the uninitiated. I'll just read the description here. A man awakes to find himself trapped in a dirty, confined crawl space. He barely has enough room to move. He also has no memory of why he's there or why he's bleeding from a stomach wound. Occasionally, he zones out of his surroundings as he tries to edge his way towards freedom.
Isn't this
That's
just what
all the
happened
movie.
with Jacob Elordi in Euphoria?
I don't give a shit. Um, this is all that movie needs to be. Guy wakes up in the back rooms, tries to find his way out. You can even make that like 80 or 90 minutes if you're creative enough.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is just like so confused and like has no idea what it even wants to be
Mhm. Yeah.
about
Take it
its
more
whole
to like
process.
take it more to Exit 8 territory.
I
Like I don't
think
understand why this isn't like a visceral experience. Because like that the whole thing with liminal horror is like trying to recreate the feeling of being somewhere specific. And
right.
this is so like passive as an experience that it's just like I don't even I was
He's never even seen all
boring.
the
It's
President's
boring.
Men. He hasn't seen those shots of Deep Throat in the parking garage with the cigarette. He doesn't get it. He's a baby. No,
Well,
so
he
so
Why
can't
are you
Ken,
drink,
giving babies
so
$10 million?
this is the thing. And I think that there's probably a lot of people that that have a degree of envy for Kane
Oh,
Parsons.
there is absolutely some envy going around,
And I think that there's a blowback to the envy as well. And it's like I want to make this point in a way where I'm like, look, it's fine to me that the kid is making movies, that the obsession guy is like 20, however old he fucking is. I
sex.
it's fine. I'm wearing a Cleveland baseball jersey right now. The NBA finals are going on. We got a fucking the entire San Antonio Spurs are younger than Morgan, which is fucking nuts. Victor Wembanyama is like 22 years old or some crazy shit like that, right? Young people achieve things in this world. Orson Welles was 26 when he directed Citizen Kane, quite famously. So, I get it. I just think, with everything that I've said about the movie and all of those things in tow, make the young guy do it for cheap. Make him use his brain to solve problems. I just don't think that we do the youth of tomorrow. And I'm not talking about him because he's young, because the youth could be a 45-year-old. But like learn how to do it with nothing. Learn how to make a Eraserhead with like just fucking nothing. And then you work up. And it's not about earning your stripes or something. It's not like I'm not that guy. I'm not in the industry obviously. But it's just like this concept needs cheapness. It needs limitations. It needs problem solving. Like go make movies like John Waters made movies. And
Yeah.
then at some point, if you make a $10 million movie, cool. You'll have so many tricks in your bag, so many things that you know how to do from having done it this way. And I know that Kane comes from the YouTube scene. I think that we're going to see more and more and
He
more.
made everything in Blender, basically.
We're going to see way more of that. And I love that you bring
Curry
up
Barker
Blender
came
because
from the
like
YouTube scene.
Yeah.
uh, like Flow is an Oscar-winning animated movie that was almost entirely edited in Blender, I
Hmm.
believe.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see more of these internet creators come out. We're
The
gonna see
the
more people that
Smile
are
franchise comes from YouTube.
we're
So,
cutting our teeth creating content, whether that's YouTube, a web series like The Whitest Kids You Know is a great example of that. Nirvana the band, Matt Johnson, right? That's starting off as a web series, eventually moving over to Vice. But like we're gonna see more and more and more of those guys pop
hmm.
up. And so that is kind of their version of like creating it on the cheap is the YouTube version. But I
Yeah.
think that you can still do those things in the feature film space. I don't know. I think that's what makes the really good Matt Johnson movies as interesting as they are is because they
Hmm.
they don't have any resources at all. It
Yeah.
is all problem solving. It is all creativity, which is if I know I feel like I've really hammered this concept, but problem solving and creativity is exactly what you need to make this concept pop off.
Hmm. Yeah.
Although it's popping off financially, like I recognize that I feel like we've dogged the movie, but it is a huge success.
Yeah. And I like this movie, to be clear. Don't love
Yeah.
it, but I do like it.
Yeah, I'm warmer on it than Morgan, but I had so many problems. I think I would like it less if I watched it again. I had a pretty good
Hmm.
time watching it on like a Dolby screen, completely sold out crowd really late.
Yeah.
Although they delayed us. Like the showtime started late, didn't get any of the trailers, X,
Mhm.
Y, and Z.
Yeah, we were sold out. I mean, the theater was absolutely mobbed that night.
Yeah. Obsession was too. I almost thought about going to see Obsession a second time, which apparently so
Hmm.
did everyone else.
I mean, Obsession just has like an all-timer hook
Yeah.
it's become a coworker movie. And I mean that as a compliment. So
Yeah.
like everyone is seeing it, everyone has an opinion on it.
Yeah, I think Weapons had a bit of a coworker movie energy. Like I
Hmm.
literally had coworkers be like, "You see Weapons? Did you see Barbarian?" That kind of thing. Barbarian
Yeah.
wasn't until Weapons showed up, but I've talked to people about those movies, which feels crazy.
Hmm.
And
But yeah,
this and Backrooms is like the most annoying child that you work with is like, have you seen the Backrooms yet? Skibbity wrist. I hate this movie.
They should have set this whole thing in Costco with the Costco guys. The
Yeah.
liminal spaces of being in a fucking giant place eating a chicken bake.
oh God.
I for all my
No,
grousing,
if you really want to scare me, set this in a Walmart.
Yeah,
yeah,
Costco's.
that's
Yeah, either
they're
way.
both
Sam's
grim.
Club. Yeah.
It's entirely possible that for all of my grousing about this movie, it completely didn't work for me because when I was 14 years old, Hideo Kojima released PT and completely bodied this entire
Totally.
liminal space
It's very video
concept.
gamey. Very,
Yeah.
very video
Hmm.
gamey. Silent Hill, like literally any horror game, just start naming them, and they're all about navigating nightmare spaces. Think about like hospitals
Yeah.
in a given Resident Evil game or whatever.
Hmm.
Like, oh, something terrible happened here. It's a bunch of dead people. Oh, there's a zombie. I'm playing Bloodborne. Like it's all video games basically are
Yeah.
founded on this. Not all, but a lot, a very significant amount. And that's cool. Like I like seeing that influence in movies. It's not like that's problematic, but yeah, it becomes a little difficult to yeah. Now that I'm thinking about Silent Hill, I'm like, oh, is that where the marital stuff is? Like, is that what we're doing here? No, don't do that. Stop that.
I'll peel my own face off.
It's presumably better than that movie though, which I'm sure Cole can testify to.
Oh God, shooting myself is better than Return to Silent Hill.
Yeah, there's a real chance that the worst movie I've ever seen came out this year, and I just haven't seen it. Um,
That's sometime.
yeah, this movie made me feel old. Maybe that's why
Yeah,
I hated it so much.
a lot of both of these movies and a lot of movies make me feel old.
Yeah, but you're old, so it's
Yeah, it's
yeah.
true. It's true. I'm interested also in I have my own thoughts. I've always felt like horror at the movies, like, even if you're making complete fucking slop, right? You're making Platinum Dunes horror, you're making the Omen remake in 2006, like really bad horror movies.
Mhm.
Even a really bad horror movie, you have to be very conscientious about like thrilling the audience, about like boosting them. And that
Yeah.
requires a thoughtful application of filmmaking technique.
Hmm.
So it's like no matter what the horror movie is, there's always a level of like, I'm trying something as a director or as a writer, as the editor, as the cinematographer, as the visual
Hmm.
effects guy. Like we are making an attempt not just to explain a narrative, but engage you through our formal techniques in the
Yeah.
experience of that narrative. That's my best guess as to why horror is so damn successful in spite of the fact that like movies as a whole have taken like a whole step down, whether it's actions, dramas, rom-coms, like literally all of the rest of it. Music biopics are popping off still. Great. But we can understand that people
Yeah.
just want to listen to Billie Jean really loud. But the horror thing, I have to think it's because of that. I have to think it's because it's one of the last places where no matter what you're making, you have to put a little bit of work into the final product
Hmm.
in a filmmaking sense. I know that sounds really stupid, but we talked about it with comedies. Like comedies, you just put some funny people in front of the camera. It's like, oh, here's Kevin Hart, he's doing jokes.
Yeah.
It's a comedy. Whereas with a horror, you have to do something. But it's interesting. It's like the culture, the filmmaking culture, like B-movie repertory screenings. I don't really know, but it's been an interesting continuing trend. And it's just becoming more and more dominant. It's gone from January to March to now we're in May, right?
Hmm.
We are in May talking about like, oh, the indie horror movies that are racking up the big bucks. Eventually, it's just going to be a 12-month cycle of like what horror movies doing it now
Yeah. And hopefully the positive box office trends continue, seeing other genres come back
and
in the
other
way that they
franchises die
have.
off.
Hmm.
Franchises die, we make room in the garden for everybody else.
Hmm.
For more
Although,
franchises like the Backrooms.
He's gonna make a sequel. It's like almost
Oh,
guaranteed there's gonna be a Backrooms
there's
too, right?
there's
The
gonna be like
Backer
five of
Rooms,
these.
yeah. Although he said he's not interested in making another one, which is pretty interesting.
the way back rooms.
The way back rooms.
Yeah,
The
The
Backrooms
the Marlon
colon.
Brothers parody back shots.
that
Give it
shit's
up
gonna
for
be
give it up for Scary Movie 6.
that shit's gonna be fucking terrible.
We're so
That
popular that we got Scary Movie back.
it looks
I'm tired.
diabolically
It looks
awful.
unwatchable, but
It is,
I will go.
however,
I
I just
will.
checked. It is shorter than the Backrooms, so at least there's that.
The thing is that Anna Faris and Regina Hall can lead me places that I wouldn't go with the gun.
Just enjoy your sinners riffs and substance riffs.
Did you see the substance riff joke?
No.
So when they take the substance, white chicks pops out the back.
Ah,
Sure.
ha. I get it. I understand.
And that's where we are.
Gonna lead us to
Movies
a
are
place where
back.
we're like, you remember when Simon Rex was in these?
Despite how bleak I make it sound, movies are truly actually back. People are rediscovering the hobby.
Yeah, and that's a good thing.
Probably because everything else is too expensive nowadays, but you know.
That's how I got into it, to be honest. Just you could watch movies for cheap. You pirate the movie, you get the movie from the library, you could buy a cheap DVD. It's exactly how and why I got into movies as much as I did. So I support the children doing this. I support the children making movies. I support the children dominating the box office. Although I didn't love either one of these, I will definitely be interested to like just see where different trends, the two
Yeah.
specific guys, and just where everything continues to go.
Barker's next thing is well, he's got a movie already completed, which is about two ghost hunters on a paranormal activity-esque show who don't believe in ghosts encounter a real ghost.
Has Aaron Paul in it.
Oh, yeah, And then after that, he's doing Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right?
Yeah.
Pass.
Which is
Which was
like the nobody has ever made a 5-star movie and then like within minutes of leaving that movie been like, you're almost on my shit list for this.
it was funny and tying with the Backrooms idea of like misremembering things and copies of copies of copies. That he was talking about his reactions to the Platin Dune Texas
Yeah,
Chainsaw
right.
and
And
not the
how it was like,
original.
right,
And just
right.
like the
I
degrees of
yes,
separation are getting further away.
that's like him saying The Simpsons was the right, and somebody's one day is gonna look back and be like, oh yeah, when I was writing this story, I was thinking about the movie Obsession, which left an
Hmm.
impression on me when I was 9 years old or whatever.
It's a
Yeah,
1/2-star movie is the thing. It's
terrible,
taking inspiration from the worst.
very bad. Well, it's been another little time at the movies. What's next? I mean, I know at some point deep into the summer we'll be talking about Chrissy Nolan and his return. That's like a must do, but I'm not sure
Oh
what
yeah,
else is 100% on
Disclosure
the
Day's
horizon.
next week.
Damn. Steven
So,
Spielberg.
very
yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
Heard a little of that Johnny Williams. Mm.
Josh O'Connor.
Toy Story 5 looming in the distance.
I'm not
None of
watching
my
that.
business.
It's tracking for like a $175 million opening weekend.
Yeah,
Millennials were
sure.
unbeatable.
That's fine. Just fuck off. Stop existing in front of me.
True. Well, that's about it. You guys got anything else? All
Don't
right.
think so.
Well, thank you guys for coming on, talking about some movies. We'll be back soon, and thank you all for listening. Bye, everybody.
Just hold that for a minute.
Ciao.